The look to find some early momentum.
The new Wholesalers Edmonton is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be.
Don't take his selection. Service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your part.
The Jason Gregor Show.
First down. Burrow. And there it is. A record that has stood nearly a quarter of a century has a new leader. As 30-year-old Myles Garrett records his NFL record 23rd sack of the year, passing Michael Strahan and T.J. Watt on the all-time list.
On Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Running the floor to get that cornet protect. And on the other side, that you pull. Mistake. Ty Harper. And he misses the three. Harper cleans up.
What a tremendous Monday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, as well as on Twitch. We very much appreciate it. As you, hopefully you're not floating away. It's a little rainy in the capital city and area right now. But hey, you know what? That's all right. Because trust me, the moisture is good. I know it's a little disappointing. Maybe you had a golf game planned or soccer or a few other things outdoors. It'll be a short-term pain because I always say this. Would you rather have a few days of rain or do you want the smoky summers that we've had? I'll take a few days of rain. So hopefully the smoke will this will help lower the amount of smoke that we have. So that will be that'll be great. Gregor Show is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where lottery, instance, live dealer, sports, casino, all in one stop at PlayAlberta.ca, and also including the Jason Gregor Odd Boost specials. You got Canada up against Uzbekistan tonight. And hey, who's a diehard? Because I know they got like 40,000 tickets sold for that. I got to double check, but I'm like 99% sure we'll have a 4-pack to give away to some diehards who want. I know that it's raining. Soccer doesn't stop in the rain. And if you want to go knowing the conditions, we'll give you 4 seats. Pretty sweet. So we'll do that. We got also some MLB game to play there as well. PlayAlberta.ca. I am Jason Gregor alongside Connor Halley. Donovan Paulson is along for the ride this afternoon. We got lots and lots to discuss on the show. Kevin Woodley is going to be by. We're going to set up the Stanley Cup Finals goaltending matchup. Both goalies have been really good. So how would you attack Hart? How would you attack Anderson? Ben Steiner will join us. We will talk some soccer. We're going to go to Chicago. There was a trade in the NHL today. GM of the Elks, Ed Hervey, will be by. Brian Diardo will join us. Massive trade in the NFL. Huge trade. Something you don't see very often with the greatest sack player of all time. Myles Garrett is now a member of the Rams. And, it's kind of funny that the trade happened now. But nonetheless, Jared Versey is going to Cleveland, as well as a first-rounder in 2027, a second-rounder in 28, and a third-rounder in 29. So not bad job by Cleveland to kind of spread out or I should say the Rams, spread out the draft picks that they're giving up. They're not giving them up all in one time. You're not just decimating yourself for one full year. Way to go, Cons. I know you were following this closely. What are your thoughts on the big deal?
I mean, I absolutely love it. The Rams have kind of had that long history of them picks. They don't seem to care about first round picks, and when they do use them, they use players that are going to help you in 3 years. So maybe it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I really like it for them. I had no, I guess, sympathy for Myles Garrett because he had said he wanted to be traded, and then he just took the money, and it seemed like he was going to be content with the Browns. But good for the Rams. The last 2 years they've lost to the eventual Super Bowl winner, and they put up good fights. A guy like Myles Garrett can put you over the edge. They lost to Philly, they lost to Seattle. Now they have the best defensive player in football to add on top of that. And then for the Browns, you get Jared Verse. Obviously, you're losing your franchise player, but a first-round pick as well. That one, to me, I'm a little unsure about just because it will probably be a 31st, 32nd overall selection. It'll be a later first-round pick, but I think Jared Verse is a guy who's a lot of upside for that team. So as much as you don't want to see him go, I think the return is probably better than what the Raiders would have got for Max Crosby. So yeah, I guess for them, not the worst thing. And then the June 1st thing, similar with AJ Brown and the Patriots, it just opens up things that could be more cap relief. There's no designation, things of that sort. So yeah, we're still waiting to see what happens if AJ Brown ends up with the Patriots, but I love it for the Rams. I think that's just such a great move for them.
How good is the guy Cleveland's getting?
He's got upside. Jared Verse. Yeah, he 2-time Pro Bowler. Was out of Florida State just a couple of years ago. I think kind of had more of a burst on the season last year at 7.5 sacks. So I think he's good. He's not Myles Garrett. He's a guy who is a good piece for this defense. But you're losing Myles Garrett. You lose the best player. You lose the trade, obviously. You clear up a ton of space. Verse will need a new deal in the next 3 years here, and he'll probably get paid handsomely. But anytime you lose Myles Garrett, you lose the trade.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That they got to land those picks, and maybe that can soften the blow. But I'll say this: the Rams are obviously going to win now mode, and hey, you know what? If you feel your window's there, you got only a few years left to Stafford, you might as well go for it. And they did that. So we'll touch that with Brian Diardo. Friday night in Edmonton, Cons, I know you were there, and you sat through the rain, which sucked because that really put no pun intended, a dampen on the night. There's lots of people that were there, and then the rain came, and a lot of people didn't want to wait around because they were soaked for the hour. But it was a pretty unique experience to be that close to the field on Friday night for the Elks and the Stamps.
Oh, totally. And as you were walking in, you're kind of right by both teams' tunnels. When the rain came, we kind of went underneath who were standing there right there with the Stampeders, which was a very cool experience. But I thought it was really awesome. And, I'm sure some people took off during the rain when you couldn't get cover, but to be that close, to just see how big and fast they are, you actually, you hear the hits very clearly with those types of things, the players on the field, all that sort of thing really added to it. I thought Cody Fajardo looked pretty efficient in the game. Could have had a touchdown, I think, if he throws that a little lower on that slant where the DB can't get to it. Nice play by the DB on that one. But all in all, I thought it was a fantastic night. I think the Elks organization, you had lemons, you turned it into lemonade. They had a great setup there for the concession and made it kind of retro. They handed out the guides with the retro fashion. All in all, pretty cool night outside of the rain. But once the rain cleared up, the weather was fine.
Yeah, no, the weather was fine. And now we get to the regular season. Starts on Saturday. The Elks, of course, made some roster moves. There was a few players that I don't know if I was surprised by any of them, but you know what? Benjamin was a player who last year you thought, okay, you know what? This guy showed some potential, but Cons, you know what? In camp, I just never saw him really elevate. Other guys played better. So now he got picked up by Ottawa and could be in the lineup for week 1 against them. But you look at, was there any other names? Justin McGriff was another guy who showed some potential, but really I think it came down to it. They just had some other better receivers like OJ Hilaire, who started last year for the Elks down the stretch. He's on the practice roster. He got beat out by some other guys who were simply better.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you bring in 20 receivers to camp. That's probably a clear message that you're trying to upgrade the position. They did get him to the practice roster, so he was a name that surprised me a little bit. Ladarius Tennyson, I mean, that was a guy I heard Declan Kruger talk up quite a bit. So to see him released, a bit of a surprise, but again, added to the practice roster, I think it's an encouraging thing. Obviously, the team feels they've upgraded that wide receiver position. A couple games the receivers cost them. Pains me to say as a former receiver, but drops in the end zone cost them football games last season. So yeah. I'm glad they upgraded from that aspect and can't wait for it to get going on Sunday or Saturday. My only question, Gregor, why is there only 6 teams in action in week 1.
Yeah, it's a little strange, isn't it? To have a week 1 bye. I don't love that by the choice by the league, but maybe it's because they needed extra time. How is their website not ready? Like, oh my God. But nonetheless, serenity now for the CFL. Like certain things that stop talking about expansion. Fix your damn internet. You they put out a fantasy thing and it's subpar, to put it politely. Like that, I'm sorry, that's just a terrible look. The things that you talked about that were the most necessity to fix, and they haven't done it yet. And that to me is a big disappointment. So we'll touch on that. As I mentioned, Kevin Woodley will be by 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. This Friday, because I know many of you are sitting there right now and you're just like, holy cow. It's a little bit enough. But on Friday, it's going to be in the 20 degrees. It's going to be pretty nice out. And we're playing golf at the ranch. So we got to force them to tee it up with yours truly for the MS golf tournament. And now with that, you get your basically, I like to call it your super ticket, because that just gets you, entries in all the different prizes and everything like that goes on. You get breakfast, everything else. You also now, I'm a much better scramble player than I am a normal golfer. If one of you can putt and if you can read the putt, I can make the putt. I can't read a green. It sucks. Still, I'm the worst at reading a green. But if I see where the ball goes once, then I'm a pretty decent putter. So we'll have some fun. Got a few special prizes to give out to each member of the foursome as well. Some unique things that, frankly, no one else. We haven't made them available to the public yet. So you'd be some of the first ones to get them. So if you got a connection to MS or you just like golf, it's this Friday morning at the ranch, 8:00. If you want to tee it up, all the money going towards the MS Society. This runs around face value around 1,400. So 833, that's for the foursome. 833-401-1440. Make it a fivesome. So we'll have some fun. And who knows? Maybe we'll surprise a few people. But if you want to go, we'll have some fun on Friday. Just text in 833-401-1440 with your bid on that. A few other things over the weekend. The Toronto Blue Jays, some good and some bad. They just, one step forward, one step back. They had the miracle comeback with the themselves when they come from behind. Then they have just and I don't know. I kind of blame. Well, obviously Hoffman has to take some of the blame because he's on the mound. But I really don't understand why you're putting him on the mound in that position when you have a history of saying when he's on the mound when there's really nothing to go for, he doesn't do great. You got a 5-1 lead in the ninth. Why not just give him an extra day off there, Cons? I didn't really understand that decision, and it came back to bite the Jays. And they blew a 5-1 lead and lost 6-5 in the ninth inning. They're still in a decent spot because of the wild card. So, that's all right. But that's just, I'm sorry. That is just not it's not great. For me, not at all. They're what, like a half game up on the Athletics and the Rangers. It's a little bit of a turtle derby right now in the American League for the wild card race. Meanwhile, in the NL, you've got like 5 teams over 500, and none of them are in the wild card spot. Whereas Toronto's under 500, and they're in. Now, there's only 100 games left in the season, 100 plus actually. I think the Jays got 102 games left, so there's a ton of time. But that was I didn't really like that decision, Cons, at all. NBA, the Spurs are going back to the championship. They'll take on the Knicks, and this is the 4th consecutive season that you've had. Excuse me. Not just no repeat guy for a chance to repeat, but all new teams every year. Connor Halley. So if you want to talk parity, the NBA can say, hey, wait a sec, we got a lot of parity, right? Nuggets, Heat, Celtics, Mavs, Thunders, Pacers, Knicks, Spurs. Compare that to the NHL where you had Florida and Edmonton back-to-back twice. Then you had Florida against Vegas the year before that. Now, this year you got Vegas and Carolina. The NHL has been a little bit different. It's basically been Edmonton, Florida, Carolina, Dallas, Vegas, Colorado, Tampa Bay for the last 6 years. I know Montreal got in the 1 year in 2021, but it's kind of what it's been. And we'll see. I had a lot of guys talking today and yesterday. They get going tomorrow. Cons, who do you like? Stanley Cup.
I mean, I feel like Vegas is the team I'm leaning towards. I don't like it, but I just, some of the star power that they have, they've had Mitch Marner kind of elevate his game. They've got a lot of guys or some guys left from that cup winning team. So the core of the team still there. They're playing good hockey, finding ways to win. Like the way they handled their business against the Colorado Avalanche really swayed me. Because, the first couple rounds, I thought, yeah, maybe they go on a bit of a run, but I thought the Avs would have their way with them. Even with the injuries, I thought they'd keep it a little bit closer, but Vegas handled it so easily. Not to completely write off Carolina. Obviously, we've seen what they can do. They're battle-tested and had done a very good job, and they've been getting a lot of rest in these finals, but I think I'm just giving the edge to the team I dislike more. I think they find a way to get it done. How about you?
I don't think there's much separating these two teams at all. I'm just going to go with Carolina, and I'm going because of their penalty kill. It's so good right now. I don't think there's much that separates these two teams 5-on-5, and I'm going to stick with the Hurricanes because they've really, outside of the one game when they had all that time off, they've been dominant, absolutely dominant over every other team. Right? Like you think about it. In their 12 wins, they've allowed 15 goals. 15 goals against all playoff teams. You can sit there and criticize who they played. They're all playoff teams. And Montreal had the fourth most points in the East. They beat the second and third teams in Buffalo and Tampa Bay. And Carolina just waxed them. So I will go with Carolina I don't feel overly confident about the pick, but I wouldn't feel overly confident about picking Vegas either. Like I don't think, I could be wrong, but I wouldn't think this would be a short series, but you never know. So we'll see. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We'll take a quick break. We'll return. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
When thirst strikes and your energy begins to fade, one hero rises above the rest. Introducing the Superpower Smoothie from Booster Juice. A bright sun-charged burst of mangoes, bananas, and blue spirulina. An out-of-this-world smoothie, just in time for the new Supergirl movie. Discover your power and channel your inner superhero. Fly into your local Booster Juice and experience it for yourself today. And see Supergirl. Only in theaters June 26th.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC.
No one's ever accused car shopping to be fun. I mean, think about it. Awkward standoffs to get a price. Let me go talk to my manager. Dealers asking for your credit card, then melting your phone if you say no. See, not fun. At Northgate, I promise you a different experience. We make it fun. And you will like us, I promise. 0% financing, a great selection of new and pre-owned units. So for some fun, stop in today. 13215 97th Street or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
It doesn't start on game day. It starts before kickoff, before the first snap. It starts with you locking in your season seats. This is Edmonton Elks football The only way to experience it is being there for every hit, catch, and touchdown. The Elks home opener kicks off June 20th against Montreal. Your season seats are your way in. Get yours now at goelks.com/season seats. Edmonton Elks. Our city, our year.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
What's it like to score a winning deal at Car West Leduc? Like raising the cup in your hometown on your birthday. Feel it now at Car West Leduc. Experience a vast, uncompromising selection of top-quality used vehicles with no extra fees. Trucks, sedans, vans, SUVs, and more. Backed by family-run service and top dealer ratings on Google. So when the final siren goes, you go home with a deal you'll never forget. Car West Leduc, 6514 Sparrow Drive, Leduc, or at carwestautosales.com.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, jersey barriers, and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at bashawconcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. bashawconcrete.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Mortgages to Go. Need cash and have equity in your home? Mortgages to Go has you covered. When the bank says no, they say yes, and they've been doing it in Alberta for over 23 years. Call 1-888-888-5998 or visit mortgagestogo.ca.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
#222, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a fantastic Monday. I know, hey, it's a little bit of rain, but it'll be through. It's going to dry up later this week. We'll be all good. We'll get through it. Right now, who knows? Maybe you're cleaning your garage, doing something. This is, cleaning closets, because when it's raining outside, there's not as much you can do, I find. So just do things that you put off. So maybe if you put off your cleaning your garage, you probably got stuck with cleaning your garage this weekend. So there you go. Tom opened up the bidding at 500 bones. Obviously, we got a ways to go, but hey, got to start somewhere. So I love it. 833-401-1440. If you want to golf this Friday at the Ranch Golf and Country Club for the Smash Out MS Tour, Dr. Lopatinsky. Well, he's not a doctor, so call him a doctor, but really, we'll see. It's debatable. Nonetheless, we like to have fun with it. So here's what you get. You get your foursome. You'll also get breakfast, coffee, everything else, fruit, all that stuff comes with it. You get some tailor-made balls and tea gift, some drink tickets, round of golf, steak dinner afterwards, and the golden ticket where you can win all sorts of prizes on the course. Only thing that isn't included is the mulligans if you want to get some. But hey, you got a good team. Who needs a mulligan? Whatever. And away you go. They've raised over $300K at this tournament. So I'll tell you right now, though, this is a lot of fun tournament. It's like kick off your weekend a little bit early on a Friday. If you're someone who likes to have a little bit of fun, then this is a good tournament, because when the golf tournament's over, the party really just begins. So it will be loads of fun this Friday at the ranch. 4 of you, I'll tee it up with you. I'll add some extra special prizes to it. So Tom's in at 500, and now Steve comes in at 6. So let's get this going. Retail value is $1,400. It's all for the MS Society. Okay, 833-401-1440. Now, let's get to Around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And right now, Dollar Drink Summer is on. You can sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for only $1 all summer at McDonald's. As Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com joins us. How you doing?
I'm good. You had me at drink tickets included for the golf on Friday.
How's your golf game?
My golf game is coming. We just started playing 2 weeks ago, and it's coming. It's not pretty. I wouldn't recommend watching me swing a club, but we do manage to get the face of the club onto the back of the ball often enough to get her around okay.
Yeah, well, that's great. We're to the Stanley Cup final now, Kevin. It's a matchup of the goalies who have, by all the numbers, have been the two best goalies in the playoffs, in Hart and Anderson. And I know Dobish has played very well too, but Anderson and Hart, you know what? Now maybe you got some other numbers that would suggest someone's been better, but those two being pretty damn good, I would say. So let's go first on Vegas. Where and how should they attack Freddie Anderson?
Well, this is going to be interesting because, and I brought this up before and it continues. I don't know that people are aware, like this might surprise some people. The Vegas Golden Knights lead the Stanley Cup playoffs heading into the Cup final in expected goals for off of high danger chances at even strength. They are generating quality, but they're not necessarily doing it with skill plays. When we think of breakaways and slot line passes and you know the pretty stuff, they're mid-tier. Where they're dominating is in the grid. You combine rebounds, deflections, screens, and broken play goals, and they are number one with a bullet, and it's propelled them to first overall when it comes to creating dangerous chances. Now, the interesting thing, and this actually flips the other way too, but the interesting thing is Freddie's excelled at that. Like that's an area, I don't think he's seen it to this degree like Vegas is going to bring, but he's got the experience. He's pretty good at finding his lanes. He's big enough to look over. He doesn't get going back and forth behind screens and losing the puck and over moving. He plays a conservative positional game. He's in his crease most of the time. He's a big body, shifts into pucks a lot. So it's a real strength versus strength. The way that Vegas, and again, I think a lot of people think of Marner leading the playoffs in scoring, and you know they think of the skill element and obviously what Jack Eichel brings and Shea Theodore on the back end. But where they're really making hay is with the ugly goals, the gritty stuff. And it'll be interesting to see how Carolina's defense handles it. I think Freddie Anderson's well equipped to handle it behind them. And that's one that I'll be watching closely because that's something they've dominated in, but it also happens to be an area that Anderson has been really good at.
Okay. So you're talking like high danger chances, most of them are through grit, like screens, rebounds, deflections.
Yeah.
So if you're Carolina and your goalie's really good at that, like obviously you always try to limit the traffic, but Carolina's only allowed 15 goals in their 12 wins, Kev. Like it's ridiculous, right? Like it's almost be at 1 goal against per game is mind blowing to me in the playoffs. So what have you seen defensively from Carolina? Like, do they give up a lot of those and Freddie Anderson's just good at it, or do they don't give up a ton of screens, or they're not giving up a lot of second chances?
They've done a really good job sort of on second chances, managing the net front. And again, I suggest that's about to get more difficult. Although against Philly, that's how Philly tried to generate offense too, right? They weren't a pretty team in terms of how they tried to score, and Carolina handled it really well. You know, the Canes are still giving up chances. I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that 5-on-5, they're the second best team in the playoffs. Philly was actually better in terms of high danger chances, 5-on-5 against. So it's not like it was in the playoffs in terms of the breakaways and all the things. Freddie Anderson saw the third most breakaways of any goalie in the NHL during the regular season, and think about how little he played to be third most. Like they give up a ton off the rush. They've tightened that up somewhat, but I would suggest if you're Vegas, and it's interesting because I don't know that they're a team that dives deep into these pre-scouts. Like they just, let's create our offense and let our guys do what they do. But if you're going to get breakaways against Carolina, and they do give them up, you need to try and work Freddie wide, like sort of deke and fake and go wide. And I don't think Ottawa got the memo in the first round. They tried to beat him by scoring, or his pads, and we'll get into this in a second, but his pads are shorter than a lot of his peers. Like, he wears short pads, and it makes it really tempting to go after the 5-hole. But when I broke down all the breakaway goals against him in the regular season, there were 21, and 13 were in off dekes, and only 2 of those were back between the legs 5-hole. You really need to try and stretch him out wide. And teams that have, Montreal had 4 breakaway goals, 2 were on dekes, and 2 were on just perfect shots. But the teams that have had success are stretching him out wide with the dekes. Ottawa tried to go 5-hole a bunch of times and took a bunch of shots. Philly either deked 5-hole or took clean shots, and he stopped all of them. So Montreal was the first team to sort of get to him on breakaways, on one-on-one chances, and it started with 2 dekes that sort of get him out and stretch him out wide, as opposed to trying to sift it back in between. A 5-hole that's tempting, but for the most part, he does a good job closing. He wears his pads, Jason, shorter than a lot of his peers. I remember being in the locker room in Toronto way back when, and I could see that he'd actually had them altered. Like, he had his Bauer pads come in fixed sizes, and he actually sent it away and had a top inch cut off and re-sewn back together. And he was showing me in the locker room, like, dropping into butterflies and showing me how, hey, like, it closes perfectly. I don't need more than this, and I feel more mobile. And so I don't know how far below he is his max height. That's all, they calculate that based on the length of your, I think it's your ankle to your knee, and then your knee to your thigh divided by 55 or 55% of that. I don't know how far below he is, but he's definitely got shorter pads, and it makes it tempting to look 5-hole. And yeah, you can catch him with quick shots there. But when the dekes come, he does a pretty good job of sealing it, despite the temptation to try and go there.
Awesome. Now, if you're Carolina, how are you attacking Carter Hart?
Off the right wing, I'm trying to make him move to his right as much as I can. So I'm coming down right wing and trying to filter pucks that make him move left to right. Every goalie has a strong side, and every goalie has a relative, like relative to that, a weak side. Like, if you got a side you move better to, there's another way to move to. And for Carter, it really seems to be left to right. His ability to get rotation, even on downhill backdoor one-timers, when he's moving to his glove, he's made some incredible saves some that I don't think people realize how good they were. Because he's just beating those plays. He's got rotation. He's getting to his post, and he's beating it so set and square and tall over his knees that he's making it look easy. It's a different story if you go back the other way. I thought it was interesting. Colorado scored 4 on the blocker side, 3 high, 1 over the pad, and none under the arm. But in the playoffs so far, he's given up 6 under the arm on the blocker side. So between the blocker and the body, sort of just off the hip. And almost all of them, 4 against Anaheim, all of them are on shots coming down right wing, so going back the other way. And for a lot of goalies, there's that tendency, because we've got the stick in our blocker, it sort of preoccupies that hand a little bit. And there's a tendency on low stick shots to turn, sort of almost like you're rotating, sort of twisting that stick like you're going to steer a puck into the glass. Yep. And it can start to bleed into your other movements in terms of the elbow comes up a little bit, and that gap can be there. So, Colorado fired twice as many shots at his blocker than they did his glove, and they only played him 4 times. Like, that's a noticeable discrepancy that tells me they were looking for something as well. But when I broke down the shots, most of them were coming from the left side, so he's square and set on them. I think attacking him, if you can generate off right wing or make him move left to right, it's not so much a weakness, it's just relative compared to making him move the other way. And usually that's on a power play. Like, that's where you get those opportunities to make those decisions in terms of what side are we going to attack at it. Now, can you make it fit to your strengths, or do you want to go to if your strengths are the other side, you just keep working that way? And that's the decision Carolina has to make. One of the other things too is if you get odd man rushes, Vegas hasn't given up many, but if you do, they did in first round against Utah, rather than trying to sort of beat him to a post with passes down low, you're way better to make that pass high in the zone, one-timer top half of the net. Even on the glove side, there's a tendency to, and I think he got this in Philly and it's still in his game, do what we call the spread. So just push, get the pad down, stick the arm out over top. You've got the bottom half covered, but virtually no access to the top half. And because he takes a little ice and is aggressive outside of his crease, if you make that pass higher in the zone, Jason, he's got more distance to travel and he's more likely to go into that spread. So those would be, you get in those situations. Do we have a book? Those would be the books when you get those opportunities. Last one for him, pop passes, low, high in the zone. and then against the grain. Far side, off the pop passes, some tendencies to reach with the stick and be late to the far side. Some tendencies to push rather than rotate into angle as he pushes up to the middle. That creates a delay to the far side. And then last is off against the grain on pretty much everything. Like if you're moving one direction, shoot back the other way. I don't have a lot of great breakdowns on exactly why, but at the end of the day, 35% of the goals were against the grain on him this year. It is a small sample, but that's more than twice the tracked average, and it stood out.
Any idea why that is?
You know, he builds so, like his movement is so good on his skates and his rotation is so good and he holds edges so well. I think sometimes you can actually, as you move and rotate, maybe get a little almost over square as you're moving towards that side. You can get a little too much rotation and it just limits your backdoor access a little bit. And, you know, again, I don't have anything definitive on the exact circumstances that led to it. But when I look back at the numbers that I tracked manually, that one stood out. It's the highest total we've had, not just in the playoffs so far, but of any of the 17 goalies that I tracked for the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Kevin Woodley from InGoal Magazine and NHL.com joins us. So, Kevin, now, hey, guys have great years. You know, Dobush was unbelievable in the playoffs.
Yep.
And they've got Fowler, right? There's Montembeault. I don't think they'll keep all three of them for next year. They could. So you look at Dobush, and maybe more so Montembeault, and kind of what happened. Like, this was a guy who was the third string goalie at the Four Nations a year ago. And now he was the third string goalie in Montreal and couldn't even play. What do you think happened with Montembeault? And is that a reclamation project that you'd be willing to take on if you were a team?
It depends where I am as a team.
Okay.
Right? He's got NHL experience.
Yeah.
There are elements of his game that I like. When I watched him this season, I just thought he was behind on everything. And it looked like he was trying to find the right phrase here. He wasn't just playing. It looked like he was trying to play. He was trying to technique the game rather than play the game.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Like it just a preoccupation with movement. And it looked almost like he was thinking out there. You know, like just he was late on everything. He was late to spots. He was behind on plays. And his technical game should be one where that shouldn't be the case. Like he plays conservatively. He's not super deep. He looked to me like a guy who just lost confidence. Now, I don't know what was going on behind the scenes there. They made some changes with the goalie coach, obviously, in late January. We've talked about that. And the goalie coach that they let go was somebody that, you know, he had worked with since junior, Montembeault, that is. And I believe probably played a strong role in bringing him in. They obviously had a good relationship. So, but he's also a guy that, you know, can be hard on guys is what I've heard. So there's enough pedigree there that if I was a team looking to rebuild an asset and maybe get an asset to take him, absolutely. Absolutely. I would want to look at more film than I've looked at and sort of figure out why he always looked like he was behind or off angle or not set or not square. Like, why is that? Because from a conservative depth standpoint, he should have been able to beat plays constantly. That should have been the strength of his game. But he didn't seem to. So if you look at that tape and you're like, hey, I think we can fix this. We just need to build this up. To your point, he was on the Four Nations team. He had a good year last year. You know, there's been questions around him about conditioning earlier points in his career. I don't know if that was an issue. He had that success on Team Canada, and all of a sudden there's McDonald's commercials and there's, I believe, Hyundai. And, you know, I saw him on the television a lot as sort of not playing hockey, but as the face of several brands. Sometimes, you know, in the Canadian market, you can stop working and think you've arrived. And in this position, I'm not saying that's the case. I'm definitely, I don't know him well enough, and I haven't been around that team on a day-to-day basis. It doesn't match what I've heard about him and his work ethic, and how it's sort of evolved as he's matured. But it doesn't take much, man. Like, if you're not constantly evolving in this position, you are falling behind. And let's not forget, too, the guys he lost the job to, again, I'd really want to take a look at the tape and like, if you're a team, you better do your homework on this one, because the numbers aren't flattering. They fell off a cliff. We talked about Bennington, you know, the numbers, the adjusted numbers for this season, heading into the Olympics. Like, Montembeault was twice as bad. Like, his numbers, there is no redeeming in the advanced analytics. They're near the very bottom of the league. They fell off a cliff. But the guys that passed him, like, Dobush looks like he might be a future star. And Jacob Fowler, absolutely, I believe, is going to be a star in this league. It might take some more time, but like, let's not lose sight of the fact that the two guys that passed him on the depth chart that had worked more recently with the coach who was promoted from the American Hockey League, both are guys that I've got like up near the top of the league on the season as a whole, despite some ups and downs for Dobish in terms of their performance. Like Jacob Fowler finished top 10 in adjusted save percentage in a small sample. So it's not like he lost the job to nobodies. These guys can all play.
Okay. So, because I'm just kind of interested to see how they'll tackle. We know that, Gallagher said he's probably done his last time in Montreal, so there might be a move there. Teams are always looking for goaltenders, and I wonder about Montembeault. And, you mentioned that, maybe he was overthinking it and he was trying to not just play, because you still got to move, right? Like you can get, paralysis by analysis at times, Kev, can be a problem.
Yeah, no, I mean, and you have to have visual leads. And I just did a breakdown with Dustin Wolf and make this backdoor save. And it's like, you can see all the mechanics of the movement, the way he holds his edges, the power of his pushes. He arrives in a split with his body and his torso straight upright. And you're like, I'm marveling at all the physical stuff. And the first thing he tells you is, well, it's got to lead with the eyes, right? Like the whole key to that save is that I lead with my vision. I lead with my eyes. I get top down rotation, and that allows my body to arrive. And I can see that this guy's one-timing it. So I know what I have to do. Sometimes, though, we can get to a point where we lead with the eyes, but the body doesn't follow instantly, where instead of it's look and go, it's look, then go. And that delay, as small as that sounds between look and go and look, then go, can put you behind pretty quickly in a league that has never been more dynamic in terms of puck movement east-west around a crease.
Okay. Awesome stuff, man. We'll get into it next week. Maybe we're into June. And we might do our annual Kevin Woodley's goalies to watch for in the summer, because you've hit on a few good ones in the past. So,
well, I had a list for you. You warned me to do a little homework on the UFAs.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you a little tease, and we can break down this too maybe next week, and then get into some of our sleepers, because I did the UFA list, and obviously the headliner is Bob, and you got your Peter Mrazek's and Aaron Brossois and Frederick Anderson, Stuart Skinner. From an adjusted save point standpoint, just that alone, just adjusted save percentage last year, amongst the unrestricted free agents this year, guess who was number one?
And it's not Freddie Anderson?
It's not Freddie Anderson. He had a bit of a tough regular season in a really tough environment.
Okay. Connor.
It ain't Bob in 82nd.
Connor Ingram?
It is Connor Ingram. So there's food for thought for Edmonton Oilers fans. Well done, Jason. Yeah. Now, obviously, I don't have numbers on some of the guys that were in the American League, and we can talk about that. But amongst the guys that played in the NHL last season, number one in adjusted save percentage was Connor Ingram. Number two was your guy, Daniel Tarasov, who had a great start and was near the top of the league, but fizzled down the stretch. And so we can talk about that next week and go into how much of that fizzle was everything going on around him, how much of it was the workload catching up to him. Is there a goalie there that teams might want to target? Stay tuned.
All right. Good stuff, buddy. Okay, man, we appreciate it as always, Kev. Have yourself a great day. We will chat with you next Monday. You know what? It feels like we're in Vancouver. It's very rainy for the last few days here. So,
well, and I don't want to tell you that it's 25 degrees sunny, and I golfed with my wife last night.
Oh, there you go.
Till 9:30 at night.
Oh, nice. Well, you got about an hour, so that's still pretty good. It's pretty good. I like it. Awesome. Thanks, Kev. Have a great one.
Yeah, you too.
Kevin Woodley from Ingold Magazine and NHL.com. Now, it's going to rain tonight, but hey, guess what? No worries. Some of you are diehards. I have 4 seats to the Canada game tonight. Already like 40,000 fans going. So tough ticket to get. We'll give you a 4-pack. 833-401-1440. If you want to go 100%, you can go. I do not want to give these to someone who doesn't use them. Look at the weather, knowing that you're going to have to wear a raincoat and go prepared. Okay? But it's still a hell of a ticket to get. So 833-401-1440 if you want to go to the game tonight. We got a 4-pack of tickets.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design, build, sketching strategy, from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Hey there, I'm in the Fountain Tire sidecar, making a list of the things I'm doing this spring. 1. Saving you money, with up to 20% off select tires until June 13th. 2. Water skiing, tricky in a sidecar, but fun. And 3. Saving you more money, with mail-in rebates of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires and $50 off a $150 service with the purchase of 4 select tires. Oh, that's 4 things. Oh well, restrictions apply. Book online at fountaintire.com. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it. Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit JapaEquipment.com or stop our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
I'm good to go. With Mortgages to Go, you'll be good to go. MortgagesToGo.ca says yes when the banks say no. That's why Alberta has trusted Mortgages to Go for over 23 years. If you need cash and have equity in your home, you're approved instantly, guaranteed. Call 1-888-888-5998. That's 1-888-888-5998. With Mortgages to Go, you'll say, I'm good to go.
Are new McCafe crafted sodas just drinks or something more? Like Sprite Berry Bliss, Creamy Strawberry Coke, and Orange Dream. All swirled with fizzy flavor and topped with silky cold foam. Only at McDonald's. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Novo Blinds is your home ice advantage for window coverings. Edmonton's own custom manufacturer with over 300 5-star reviews from homeowners, builders, and commercial contractors. Book a free in-home consultation at novoblinds.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Can Torque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.248, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. And congratulations, Ryan. You're going to the game. He's all fired up. He's going to take his boys. Nice. I like it. Be an awesome experience, man. You know, there, you know it's going to rain. You go prepared. Sat outside before in the rain or the cold. Some of the most memorable moments I've had. So congrats to Ryan and everybody else. Thanks for texting in. Ryan was the lucky winner today. As we get to our soccer report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Over the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC or furnace. You might need your furnace right now. It's a little chilly still. Check it out, LegacyHeating.ca. As Ben Steiner joins us from Sports Illustrated, and we're into June, baby. It is the start of the World Cup. We are less than 2 weeks away from the World Cup, of course, in Canada and Mexico and the United States. And Canada has their friendly tonight in Edmonton in the rain. And Ben, what do you expect in these conditions? How Canada will approach this? Maybe is there any players that you thought maybe now they might be resting just for a risk of not injuring anything.
Well, good to be on with you guys, and certainly exciting as we get into this. Really, the rubber hits the road in terms of the lead up to the World Cup. But in terms of tonight, it's a worrying time for the Canadian national team because so many of these guys, there's 9 players that have been nursing some type of injury that were named to that 26. Of course, Marcelo Flores makes that 10. He's out of the picture now.
Yeah.
And so the group has to move on from Marcelo Flores, and you don't want any more setbacks with a lot of these guys. And my mind goes to a backline, and particularly center backs who haven't played in hundreds of days. Does Moise Bombito actually go 45 minutes as he's expected to? Does Alfie Jones go 45 minutes? Or do you be a little bit more careful and maybe you stick with some of the guys that are a little bit more healthy? Because I don't know about you, but that pitch being in the rain, being installed over the turf, I wouldn't be confident in the playing surface tonight.
Yeah, because they just got it installed too, right? Like it's basically comes in for this game and then boom, they're taking it out because they're putting in a brand new turf for the season for the green and gold Elks because their turf is 10 years old and they needed a new one. When you go back to that announcement of who made the roster, was there anybody you felt like, hey, there's always going to be some, I don't even want to call it snubs, but who are the ones that you thought were the closest who didn't make it?
Yeah, I wouldn't call them snubs either. I think it was, there was probably 23 players that were kind of tapping nominations for Jesse Marsh and his staff to make. But in terms of the players that were kind of on that edge, they're the players that are largely still with the group, and Jane Nelson, Zoran Basong, and Ralph Priso. And I think Ralph Priso is probably my choice for a player that would come back into the national team in that gaping spot now, considering he can play center back, he can play midfield, and versatility is an important factor when it comes to a World Cup roster. And I like what he's been able to offer. He's healthy now after recovering from a knee injury. But if you want another winger or somebody that can kind of provide a spark moment, that has to be Jaden Nelson. And he just missed off this team as well.
Okay. You look at what should fans who are going to the game tonight, what do they expect in the opponent?
Uzbekistan is a tough team to play against. They're a good team with some talented players. Canada's probably going to control a lot of the game, but there's players from Manchester City on this Uzbekistan team. They're heading to a World Cup for the first time, and they've shown moments in possession where they can really play and try and break lines and work offensively down the wings. Of course, they're coached by Fabio Cannavaro, the famed Italian player that won the 2006 World Cup, and certainly odd to see Cannavaro coaching Uzbekistan of all teams, but they've got a lot of excitement heading into their country's first World Cup as well. And we'll want to put on a good showing against a good Canadian group.
You look at Canada and, we've seen their pool, and obviously they got a break with Italy not being in it. There's no question about it. And, Ben, we hosting it is one thing, but finally getting a win would be a big one. We got their goal the last time. So now it's about getting a win. As you see Canada's roster and you see the rosters of everybody in their pool, are you more confident? Are you the same? Where do you come out on Canada's chances to advance past the group stage?
We're already saying a win. I mean, Canada's never gotten a point at the World Cup. I think a draw would be fine as well. No, in reality, it would be disappointing if Canada doesn't advance past the group stage, considering 8 third-place winners of the 12 go through as well. So it has become increasingly easy to make it to the knockout round, which is, of course, now the round of 32. But I think the intention for this Canadian team has to be winning the group. And given the Swiss roster, given the Qatari roster, which is not a good one, and given Bosnia's roster, I think it's completely feasible that Canada can go out and win the group. But it's going to come down to that health factor and what players are not only on the pitch for June 12th against Bosnia, but I think you're looking at that Qatar game as the game where you want to see Davies get on the pitch. There's a 6-day break between games that you can make a lot of recovery in. So you want to see Davies on the pitch. You want to see Bombito back to full strength. And then for that last game, I think it's a bit of a coin flip between Canada and Switzerland. But if you can go into that with 3 or 4 points, then you're feeling pretty good about yourself about potentially winning the group and staying in Vancouver.
And we don't know yet because of, you mentioned kind of like the 8 wildcard teams to get in as those third place teams. I'm assuming the top 8 winners out of the 12 they would get to face those teams, correct?
They would get to face those teams. So if you go through in third place, like you're probably playing around a 32 game, and that is your World Cup, because that's probably going to be one of the Argentinas, the Frances, the Brazils, one of those world powers, right? But if you come first in the group, then you're talking about potentially an Algeria, potentially a South Korea, which could be possible. The intriguing thing about the third place, though, is as much as you could play one of those major teams, you could also play the U.S., which I would actually favor Canada in. So that you can play the game of maybe it's better to finish second or third in terms of where in the bracket, but I've always been one to say you control the controllables, win the game, beat the opponent that's in front of you. And I think that's all Canada will be focused on, is trying to win the group. And if they do, they know that they will stay in Vancouver for at least a round of 32. And if they win that, a round of 16.
Yeah, so they do. That's kind of as far as we know. There's a lot of situations on who they could play in the round of 32, right? Like it's virtually impossible to know.
Yeah, it's extremely complicated. It's a little bit more straightforward, I think, if you look at them finishing second. We know if they finish second, that game would be in LA at SoFi Stadium. But if they win, it's at BC Place. If they finish third, I think it's either Santa Clara or Houston. But it gets confusing with the 48-team World Cup, and especially when third-place teams go through. It's not as neat and tidy as it used to be.
Ben Steiner joins us from Sports Illustrated. Ben, where do you come out? I've seen a lot of people saying, you know what, the World Cup, hey, I get it, want it to be, but there should be some countries that get an automatic, like Italy should be in the World Cup. Where do you come out on that?
I completely disagree. Absolutely not. World Cup is for the best teams through a qualifying structure that is competitive. And Italy has underwhelmed and underperformed in that qualifying structure. As much as it would be fun to see their fans, and I think that would have been exceptional to see them in Toronto in particular, given the Italian community, they didn't qualify. It's a performance-based sport. You're not just going to give the World Cup to the number one ranked team in the world because they're the best. You play the tournament, and the tournament starts with 211 FIFA members, gets narrowed down to 48. That's why in parts of the world they call it the World Cup Finals, because it is the final stage of the World Cup, is the major tournament. But really the tournament starts when San Marino hits the pitch, and those small countries that try and get to the big dance. And for a decade, Italy has failed to do that.
So is there one pool that outside of Canada that you'll be watching the closest, and why? Or group, not pool?
For me, it's going to be Mexico's, because I think Mexico has a very high standard towards their team. That first game is going to be at the Estadio Azteca, and it's going to be against South Africa, which also has been a bit of an upstart team in recent years after not qualifying since they hosted in 2010. And then some of the other teams in that group, South Korea is in that group as well, and they've always been a bit of a dark horse at tournaments. So I think that could be one to watch, especially because that is going to be all played in Mexico, which is going to have some of the best atmospheres of the whole tournament.
Awesome. Ben, thanks so much for this. What's your expectations tonight for Team Canada in Edmonton?
I don't care about the result. Just get out of it healthy. Focus on the result when you're playing on a nice sunny pitch in Montreal next week. But in terms of prediction, I'll go 1-1. I think it's going to be a bit of a testing game. Neither team will want to risk it too much when the pitch is probably not at 100%.
Man, that makes sense. Awesome. Appreciate it, man. Thanks so much for this. Enjoy the tournament.
Exciting times.
There you go. That's Ben Steiner from Sports Illustrated. And of course, the game tonight in Edmonton, Canada, taking on, I would say, a plucky Uzbekistan, and we'll see how they do. So should be a big crowd there. Lots of tickets sold. We just gave away a 4-pack. So there you go. We'll take that. We'll also update you on we have a little auction today. We haven't done an auction in a long time. So we'll have one today for some golfers. If you like golfing, we'll get to that. We'll update you. But first, let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Hire Good. For professional property services that you can feel good about, get Hire Good. Site cleanup, debris removal, seasonal maintenance, and more. Stable jobs create stable lives. HireGood.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
We've got action down at Commonwealth tonight. The Canadian men's soccer team taking on Uzbekistan in a friendly starting at 7. Canada will also play Ireland on Friday before kicking off the World Cup June 12th against Bosnia. Huge day in the NFL as the Browns are trading 2-time Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett to the Rams for 2-time Pro Bowler Jared Verse, a first, second, and third round draft pick, while the Eagles sending A.J. Brown to the Patriots for a first and fifth rounder earlier today. Odell Beckham Jr. signing with the Giants, who drafted him in 2014. Major League Baseball, you got the Rays and the Tigers. Marlins heading to Washington. Twins host the White Sox. Rangers get the Cards. Diamondbacks up against the Dodgers and the Mets in Seattle. And at the French Open, Canadian Felix Auger-Aliassime advances to the quarterfinals after beating Alejandro Tabilo in straight sets. Next up will be Flavio Kabili on Wednesday. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Chicago Blackhawks reporter Jay Sawaski and get to Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business, and for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
The Brick is thrilled to introduce the new exclusive Shaquille O'Neal home lineup of furniture. Each piece features premium Shack-abated memory foam for exceptional comfort, made to be lived in and loved for years. Each piece is built on a strong hardwood frame, offering sturdy comfort day after day. Head to any Brick location and snap a photo with Shaquille O'Neal. A life-size Shack is waiting in store. Scan the QR code and upload your pic for a chance to win one of 4 Shaquille O'Neal home pieces. Exclusively at the Brick, saving you more.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
This is you.
Hi.
And your cornhole team needs money.
Yeah, we do need money.
Plus, you've tried every fundraiser under the sun.
No kidding, and no one's buying my Cuban salted chocolate.
Scrap the chocolate and fundraise for your team, club, or charity at On the Rocks. Here's the deal. We'll create custom tickets for your event, which includes no cover, no line, and beverage before 10 p.m. Then you sell your tickets and keep all the profits.
That sounds easy.
It is. Fundraisers at On the Rocks. Book, party, cash. OnTheRocksYEG.com.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
At Wendy's, get a 10-piece nugget small combo for just $8.99. That's right, $8.99 for 100% Canadian chicken, plus fries and a drink. That's just good nuggenomics. Only until June 14th. In restaurant at participating Wendy's locations. Taxes extra.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. The goal of every one of the thousands of hair restoration procedures I've performed is a full, natural-looking head of hair. I work directly with my patients for the consultation, the procedure, and the follow-up, so we can achieve the best results possible. When people see what we accomplish, I don't want them to think, "Wow, great hair transplant." I want them to think,
Wow, great hair.
Go to drvanceelliott.com and contact us today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Need equipment on the job fast? Japa Equipment Rentals in Atchison has you covered. Excavators, wheel loaders, compaction equipment, and more backed by expert service. Visit japamachinery.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Collins, you can reply to that, Daniel. Just after 3 o'clock on a wet Monday afternoon. How are you? Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Donovan Paulson with you. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show. As always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where, of course, tomorrow, Lotto Max, $10 million and $100,000 prizes at PlayAlberta.ca. I got Jay Zawoski is going to join us. The Chicago Blackhawks. Prydom, today was the last day. The deadline just passed. So now we'll find out which teams did not get players signed from the 2024 draft. Some of them, due to their age, whatever, they will be eligible to go back into the draft. And, that happens every year. The one that had a lot of people talking, of course, was young Jack Pridham, who, of course, just finished up, won the Memorial Cup as a member of the Kitchener Rangers. He had 46 goals, 90 points in 65 games this year. It's like a real breakout year for him. And now he's a 20-year-old, but still, he had a breakout year, 46 goals, 90 points. And then in the playoffs, he had 17 points and only 2 goals, though, in the 18 games. He's a good player. I don't know. It's like a lot of third-round picks. I think because of, there's not many third-round picks, A, who play their 20-year-old year, and then B, score 46 goals. So he did that. And Tampa Bay acquired his rights today, and they gave up a third-round draft pick to the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, the Blackhawks have an incredibly deep prospect pool. And I could see why Jack didn't want to sign with them. He looks and says, man, there's too many guys. And sometimes I think you have to be realistic about where you're at. Like, look at the Blackhawks. So he got drafted in 2024. Right. Here, I'm just going to list you the guys who were drafted just a few years around him. So Frank Nazar in 2022, right? Ludwinski, Ryan Green, who's already in the NHL, Dominic James. Now he's in Tampa Bay, but he was also drafted. Then you go to, this Connor Bedard guy. Oliver Moore. And I'm just going over forwards. I'm not even going over defensemen, right? Kanserov, Martin Misiak, Nick Lardis. Those are all guys who were drafted in 23. Now you get to the 24 draft. Keep in mind, he was the 92nd pick that year. This is who Chicago took in front of him. Well, first of all, they took Levshunov, the defenseman, in the first round at 2nd overall. Then they took Sasha Boisvert, forward, 18th overall. Marek Vanacker, forward, 27th overall. John Mustard, center, 67th overall. Anthony Spelisi, center, 72nd overall. So just in his draft class, there's 4 guys ahead of him. Now, I'm not saying they're all better than him, but that's just the competition. And then they took Anton Frundell, Vlakab Nestrasil, both in the first round this past draft. Mason West, another guy. So just think about, since he's been drafted, there's been 5 first-rounders by Chicago who are forwards in the 2 years after him. Like, sometimes you just got to be realistic and say, hey, man, like, I believe in myself, but I also know the big picture. So he now gets now, had he elected to go to university, he had to decommit just so, because if he has remained committed, then guess what? Chicago just retains his rights. Now, here's the part of that I'm like, well, he could have committed and then just waited, played out his college hockey, but he would have had to play multiple years, right? This way, now he's going to college, but he's a member of Tampa Bay. They own his rights. And now he'll go to college. And likely, I'm sure Tampa Bay's camp, like they're not making this trade unless they talk to him to know that, okay, this guy's going to sign with us. You know what? Maybe he'll play 1 year of college and then he'll come out and sign with us, which is fine. Because if you look at Tampa Bay, since he was drafted, in 2024, Tampa Bay didn't have a first rounder. They didn't have a second rounder. They didn't have a third rounder. In 2025, they didn't have a first rounder. They didn't have a third rounder. So there's only one guy since he's been drafted in Tampa Bay's organization, and that's Ethan Cazada, the center out of Niagara. A good player. Had 25 goals this year. Then he went to the American League, and I don't know if he'll he probably just signed an ATO. Actually, he did sign an ATO, so I don't think he would turn pro yet. We'll see. But this is a smart move by Pridham just to look at his own career chances, because it's hard to make the NHL, like really hard. And it's way harder if you got a lot of other guys in the same age group as you, and especially when 5 of them are first rounders within 2 years of you after you. I'm not even talking about the year he was there. I'm talking after he was drafted. So not to mention the 2 guys who were drafted in the first. So that's basically 7 picks from the day before he was drafted within 2 years after. So that's a smart move by him. So we'll talk a little bit about Chicago, though, their offseason. What kind of numbers do you think Connor Bedard's going to get? I know you don't have to worry about contracts for at least, year or two. I know next summer, if the Oilers don't win a Stanley Cup, a lot of people are going to talk about, they got to trade McDavid. They got to trade McDavid. I would argue the opposite. The Oilers don't have to trade Connor McDavid for 2 full years from till now. June, you can trade him and the rights to Connor McDavid for a team to exclusively negotiate with him before free agency. Now, it's a risk, sure. But why would all those teams, because here's the facts. If you're going to acquire Connor McDavid, you're going to have to free up some cap space. He's going to be at least 15 mil on his next deal, I would think. And 15 mil compared to other guys, some would say, hey, that's still a pretty good bargain. How many teams will just have $15 million sitting around in free cap space? Right? It's not, I think, as easy as some people think to just add a guy making that much money and say, oh, you know what? We don't, because I know everybody says, well, look at Marner. They didn't have to give up anything. Yeah, because Alex Pietrangelo went on LTIR. 8.8 mil freed up right there. Otherwise, they would have had to free up a lot more salary to bring in Mitch Marner. And if you look at the team, like I saw the report over the weekend, Montreal, right? Well, let's look at Montreal's cap space heading in just for this coming season, right? They're already at 93, and that doesn't include Carey Price because he's off the books now. So no, he doesn't. They don't use him on LTIR. They do have 1 year left. They got some bonus carryovers, actually quite a bit of them, like almost 2 mil. But you look at Montreal, and Brendan Gallagher, Phil Deneau, those guys will come off the books. Josh Anderson, so yeah, they could probably just slide him in and maybe not have to give up a ton. But do they risk being the only team that can negotiate with them? And if you lose those 3 guys, although Gallagher didn't play, but if you lose Deneau and Anderson, yes, you get Connor McDavid, no doubt about it. But he's not playing your 3rd and 4th lines. Right? So you're still going to have to get somebody down there. They've got no one like Ball Duke needs a contract. Doc needs a contract this year. Neither one of those guys are going to be up for big raises. New Hook. Now, the one guy who's going to get a big raise next summer will be Demidov. What's he going to get? I don't know if they can hope to have him under the Suzuki Caulfield 7 mil range. Just the way the cap's going, I don't think there's any chance of that, right? Noah Dobson's making 9.5 on that team. What's Demidov going to make? I think it's going to be more, especially if he has another good year. So, they can't just take on 15 mil for nothing. I'm not saying he's going there. I'm just using them as an example because that's the new, like, you're going to have to listen to that if you're an Oilers fan. Every few months, somebody's going to pop up. Oh, Connor McDavid. Source tells me he'd be interested to come here. Rinse, wash, repeat. Oilers fans, I'm sure it'll get tiresome for you. And maybe a little nerve-wracking too. But if Edmonton plays well, and I think they go deep, it doesn't matter, right? Like, I'm still not sold McDavid. Like, I know people say, well, if he doesn't win, he's going to leave for sure. But why? Like, why? You could go somewhere else. And like I've said, unless, like, where can he go that he has Leon Draisaitl as a running mate? Colorado, Tampa Bay. I don't think anyone else other than Kucherov or McKinnon would I put close in that category, right? Maybe Celebrini, but Celebrini's had one unreal year. Now, if he has two more by then and now it's up to three, well, now we're talking. Okay, but so that'd be the only other one. But San Jose's got to fill out a lot of other pieces, right? Just having Celebrini doesn't mean that you're a cup contender. So that's why I think it can be a little waste of energy or maybe waste of fret for Oilers fans to worry about 2 years down the road. I don't buy into that you have to trade Connor McDavid next year if he doesn't sign a contract extension by July 1st. I just don't think you have to. He didn't sign one this year until the start of the regular season. So I don't buy into that. I've seen that theory out there a lot. Me personally, I don't buy into that at all. So, hey, Greggs, what are your thoughts on O'Reilly for Howard? Still too soon to tell, or maybe some regret creeping in, Bud? Well, Bud, you know what? I think you can have recency bias. And there's a lot of people right now because of the year that O'Reilly had, and everyone's like, oh my God, look at the year he had. And I wrote an article about it today at Oilers Nation about that and a few other things. But if you look at O'Reilly, so O'Reilly was the OHL regular season MVP. Prior to him, here's the previous MVPs going back to McDavid's year. Michael Misa, Easton Cowan, Matthew Maggio, Wyatt Johnston, none because of 21. Marco Rossi, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, Jordan Kyrou, Alex DeBrincat, Mitch Marner, Connor McDavid. Right? All pretty good. Now, Maggio's not an NHLer. Rossi's been decent, right? Did have the one really good year. Can't stay healthy. Then you look at CHL players of the year, because I think people forget Ike Howard was the Hobey Baker winner last year. He scored 24 goals in 47 games in the American League. No rookie in the American League averaged more goals per game than Ike Howard. He was over a half a goal per game. There's not a lot of guys who do that in recent memories. Logan Stankoven did it in 2023 as a member of the Stars, Texas Stars, that is. Pretty good player. So, and then if you look at recent Hobey Baker winners, prior to Howard, Macklin Celebrini, Adam Fantilli, Cole Caulfield, Cale Makar. Now, Scott Perinovich obviously didn't pan out. Adam Gaudette, Will Butcher, Jack Eichel, Jimmy Vesey. So, some decent players in there and then some really good players. I don't know where Howard's going to come out. But I think people who want to rip on the trade when neither one of them has established himself yet as an NHLer is a tad premature. Howard is a different player than O'Reilly. If Howard's going to be the player that Edmonton expected or hoped when they traded him, he's going to be a top 6 scoring winger who maybe will be a 25 to 30 goal man. Anything above 30 goals to me is like awesome. That's a big, big bonus. Heck, 25 is pretty damn good in today's NHL. Whereas O'Reilly was drafted more as a two-way guy. And, you look at O'Reilly, he got red hot on a really good Kitchener team. And deservedly so. He played very well. But that really hasn't been his calling card necessarily, but lots of guys develop a little bit later. Right? Like he had a good year. Like he's been on 3 consecutive Memorial Cup winning teams. Either in the OHL or at the Memorial Cup. London, Kitchener. So deep teams, good players. I'm a big believer you can improve when you play with better players, no question. You got to elevate your game, and he has. And he took a big step this year. But so did Ike Howard last year, like as his last year in college, and then his first year in pro. I think some people see 29 games in the NHL, and they see 3 goals, and they're like, oh, my God, he's brutal. But I'm like, pump the brakes. Do you know how many minutes he played with Leon Draisaitl this year? 10. He played 29 with McDavid. In his 10 minutes with Draisaitl, he had a goal. Had a goal in 29 minutes, 5-on-5 with McDavid. Here's some numbers I'm just going to give you for last year's Oiler wingers playing in the top 6. 5-on-5 goals. Podkolzin, 17. Roslovic, 15. Hyman, 14. Savoy, 9. Nugent-Hopkins, 8. Kapanen, 7. Those are their top 6 scoring wingers at 5-on-5. Now, Kapanen only played 41 games. How many goals, realistically, do you think Howard needs to score? And so I'll just use one, even if we go back other years. 19, 14, 13, 11, 10, 9. Those are the top 6 wingers. 5-on-5 goals. 24. Hyman had 36. 15 by Fogle, Kane, 50, or 17 Fogle, Kane, 15, Nugent-Hopkins, 11. Adam Henrique and Corey Perry each had 6. Henrique had 6 in 22 games. Perry had 6 in 38 games. No other forward even had more than 6. And those guys only played half the season. So you kind of have to be realistic about what's a decent number for Howard in his rookie season. If he scores you 12 goals 5-on-5, that's a pretty good year. That would have been 4th best on the Oiler wingers last year, 5-on-5. And these are guys who played a lot. Like Hyman played 758 minutes with either McDavid, Draisaitl, or both. Podkolzin played 799. Nugent-Hopkins played 579, and he only had 8 goals. Savoy played 509. Roslovic, and that's why I don't sleep on the Jack Roslovic loss. He played 408 minutes with those two, and he still had 15 goals total 5-on-5. Second most of any winger on the Oilers. And he didn't play, he played the 5th most minutes amongst any winger. Kapanen had 7 goals, and he only played 210. So just a little bit below on pace of Roslovic, still pretty solid. So if you look at Ike Howard, I think it's way too early because Ryan O'Reilly had a really good year in junior to say that he's automatically stone cold lock going to be better at the NHL level. They're different players in different cities. The advantage that Howard has, he's going to come to Edmonton on a team that's still searching for, there's some openings there if you want to grab it as a top 6 winger. And if he can grab one, maybe all of a sudden he scores you that many goals 5-on-5. Maybe he gets a little bit of extra power play time. I don't know how good he can be, but he's a shooter. He's a different type of player than O'Reilly. So better remains to be seen. But I just think it's premature for people who want to write off and say, oh, that trade's a fail. It's incredibly premature. You can't say it's a fail based on junior hockey. There's lots of guys in junior who score 90 points who never score 40 points in the NHL. Lots. Quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about a team that's got a boatload of picks. They're going to make some more. They're going to trade some of them. There's a few they got to sign. We'll discuss it next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Are you looking for safe and reliable transportation solutions for your wedding, corporate retreat, or golf trip? Look no further than Silent Rides, Alberta's premier charter bus company. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer 3 different sizes of units to cater to your needs, and we provide first-class service at affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Looking for a solid 4x4 that checks all the boxes? The 2026 Jeep Compass is in stock now at St. Albert Dodge, and this is a great value, starting from just $36,900. It's a Jeep, so you've got 4x4 capability, plus features like an 8.4-inch touchscreen, Apple CarPlay, active lane management, a Park View rear backup camera, and more. Over 30 in stock right now in just about every color you'd want. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Okay, new strategy. I'll just live in the freezer till October. It's spacious in here. It's spacious.
There's a better way to survive the coming AC season. Pro Solutions is your one-call-solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. We offer convenient financing options and fast appointments so you can enjoy your entire home, not just the freezer.
Now I can leave the frozen peas where they belong.
Book now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
Everything is going to be okay. If you're feeling the weight of too much debt, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or a consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal will eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we've got your back.
Sleep is for the off-season. What off-season? Sports 1440 is live, loud, and locked 24/7. Oilers, Elks, Riverhawks, Stingers, Oil Kings. We've got your fix. Edmonton's home for sports is Sports 1440.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a fully warranted center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB. And we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
Oodle Noodle origins.
In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudell, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the new world. At Ellis Island, Nudell was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as
Oodle Noodle.
A lot of you love hockey season. But when it comes to construction season, you're not as excited unless you work for GS Construction. It's true. As one season is winding down, ours is winding up with all sorts of great projects to make the city we live in better. And our team is hiring. GS Construction is scouting for pipe layers, topmen, and heavy equipment operators. So if you want to score a great job, visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.327. Welcome back. One little fun fact about Sam O'Reilly and Ike Howard. Exact same birthdays, 2 years apart. March 30th. I got a lot of people texting in, oh, O'Reilly was an overager. No, he wasn't. He was 19. Okay? He turned 20 on March 30th this year. That doesn't make him an overager. The regular season's already done. They were in the playoffs. And Ike Howard had a breakout year in NCAA at 20. A little bit older now. NCAA is a little bit harder, a little bit older league. It's normal. But I'm not downplaying O'Reilly or Howard. They're both skilled, but they both offer, I think, different attributes. Edmonton took Howard because he's 2 years older and they think he was going to be close to the NHL ready to help them, ideally, next season. Whereas O'Reilly would have been turning pro next season. So, a little bit different. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 as we go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. Commercial building owners who install solar may qualify for up to 30% federal tax credit, plus accelerated capital cost benefits. Learn more, actionelectrical.net. And one of the teams that should be pretty busy again leading up to the draft. They got a boatload of prospects. They also have the number 4 overall pick, and they are looking to extend Connor Bedard to a new contract. It is, of course, the Chicago Blackhawks and to discuss all things with the Hawks. Jay Zawoski from CHGO joins us in Chicago. Jay, how you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me, Jason. How are you?
Hey, I'm excellent. I guess let's start with the big one. Connor Bedard, what type of number are you expecting on an extension for him in both term and AAV?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And if he's going the full 8 years, I could see him going as high as 14, which is a little bit crazy, saying like, well, he hasn't really achieved probably the numbers people thought he would achieve. Injuries are part of that. Having awful line mates is another part of that. But he started to show it early last season before the injury that he is that player that they thought they drafted. So I think the Hawks would really like to get it done long term and are willing to put the bet on Connor Bedard that he's going to be the player they think he's going to be. Give him the bag, give him the years, give him everything. Connor, though, is a really savvy kid and might see the opportunity to take a shorter deal, a bridge deal, maybe for a little bit less, and know that he's really going to hit it out of the park when he hits UFA, and really take home a lot of money. So, he says he wants to be here. I believe him. He seems happy here. I think he believes in what the Hawks are doing. He sees what's coming down the pipeline and some of the young players that arrived at the end of last year. But money talks. And I think if the Hawks want to get this 8-year deal done, that's going to have to be a big number on the front.
Yeah, I think some people forget up until his injury, Bedard was fourth in the NHL. He had 44 points in 31 games, behind only Celebrini, who had played 2 more games at that point, had 3 more points. They basically had the exact same points per game at 1.42, and then there was McKinnon, McDavid, and then right below them was Draisaitl and Kucherov and Netchus. So he was playing great. You mentioned line mates. He didn't have elite guys similar to Celebrini. He had some good guys, but not an elite guy. Ideally, are Bedard and Frundell going to run their own lines? Like, they're not going to be line mates, are they?
That remains to be seen. And because Blashill did try, I think Frundell's first game or 2, he played wing. Then he tried him at center for a few. And then at the end of the year, put him back at wing. I think that's still a decision to be made because the Hawks have a lot of guys that can play center. Bedard, Nazar, Moore, Frundell, but there's not a lot of guys that are definitive centers that even Bedard. Some people think he's probably more effective as a wing. The Hawks seem to be really bought in on him as a center. So it's kind of malleable in terms of who can play center where. Frank Nazar actually played the last game on Bedard's wing for the first time, and Frundell played center. So they got some flexibility there. I think the draft here is going to dictate a lot. If Caleb Malhotra falls to 4, it's a guy the Hawks like. They also need another defenseman. The addition of Roman Kanserov too, who they just signed here, who will play with the Hawks next season. That's a winger, so that's going to push somebody else to center. So maybe it will be Bedard 1, Frundell 2, Nazar 3 down the middle, and that's a pretty solid 1-2-3 punch. But I think it's just a matter of how it's going to all shake out and how these guys are going to develop going forward.
So you look at some of the other guys, and they've got a boatload. Like they lost Jack Pridham, but I talked to Steve Ellis, and he's like, man, he might have been their 12th best prospect. So
yeah,
it's, because they have so many. Like I was counting, if you include the year he was drafted, and then the next 2 years, there's 7 first rounders that were taken, in that time ahead of him. Just first rounder forwards. I'm not even talking on Levshinov, the defenseman. So, that Pridham I don't think is a major blow for Chicago. But how many of their young guys do you think are going to be regular new NHLers next year?
So if you want to count Frundell, he will be for sure. He just finished off the season last year, last handful of games. Roman Kanserov is expected to start his North American career in the top 6, possibly in the top line with Connor Bedard, so he'll be there. You've got Nick Lardis looking for his first full year. He had 10 goals last year, but a 20-goal pace. He scored 71 with Brantford 2 years ago, so a big-time scorer. A little less one-dimensional than I thought, too. Showed a little bit of two-way prowess. But in terms of debuts, I think it's going to be Kanserov is going to be the big one. A lot of the guys that have, even Sasha Boisvert got a handful of games at the end of the year. Some of these guys have sniffed the NHL because Davidson is big on burning that first year to get these guys to free agency more quickly so they can sign for that second deal for cheaper is the idea. So a lot of guys have played, but Kanserov is, as of now, that's the big one they're counting on to potentially be their biggest offseason move. We'll see.
Okay. So you look at the Chicago Blackhawks, and where do you feel that they got a ton of cap space, right? But I think at some point, you want to take a step and improve, and they got close. I think they, got 4 or 5 months where they were a competitive team, and then they slowly kind of fell off there a little bit. But is there urgency there to say, hey, guys, like we need to be in the race this year in March? And if so, how do they go about it? Because I really like their defense, Jay, but they're all young.
Yeah. The defense is super young. The oldest defenseman is Louis Crevier, who's 26. Then it's, Alex Vlasic is 24. And then from there, you've got a bunch of 20, 21-year-olds and who have held their own at times, but they're still, as we know, anyone who watches hockey knows that defensemen develop at a different pace, a little bit slower. It's a bigger adjustment. So they are throwing a lot of trust in a very young D-core. And we saw when they traded Connor Murphy to the Oilers, that D and Matt Grzelcyk got hurt. The D was very young, and it showed. Those last 9-10 games of the season were an adventure defensively. But what Davidson believes, and I think Blashill supports him, is throw them in the fire and let them learn. So when it is time to compete and when it is time to turn that corner, like you're saying, Jason, they're ready to go, and they're ready for it, and they've seen it. I do think they're going to add, because like you're saying, like you can only have so many draft picks. You can only have so many prospects. Jack Pridham's a great example of a guy they just looked up and down the organization and said, where is he going to play? How is he going to get here? And I think Jack Pridham did the same thing and said, I don't see an opportunity for myself here in Chicago. So decided not to go, and they traded him to Tampa for a third. They need to add a little bit, because I think it is time to make a bit of a step here. Kyle Davidson is incredibly patient. And he has said over the years, like, look, we're always trying to improve. If there's something out there that makes sense for us, we're absolutely going to do it. You saw him do it when he traded Seth Jones to Florida and got Spencer Knight back and a first-round pick, 2 firsts actually. So, a solid trade for Seth Jones, got what they believe is a franchise goalie in return plus. So he's done it before, but to me, I like Davidson's plan. I like his idea, but I need to see him go get a difference maker. And we see these names out there: Jason Robertson, Matthew Nyes. Are these guys available? Like Dallas keeps saying Jason Robertson is not available, but he still isn't signed, and it doesn't seem to be headed that direction. But there's 31 other teams that want Jason Robertson, so that's the thing is, what can the Hawks give these teams that are moving on from these players to satisfy them? And the Matthew Nyes thing, he is exactly what the Blackhawks need. But now with the Leafs getting number 1, I think that changes their whole trajectory. I think they had thought about maybe rebuilding or retooling at least, but now they're going to get Gavin McKenna thrown in there, and he's going to add them right away. So that changes everything. So Nyes is probably not available now. This is where the job of the GM becomes tough. He's got to find a team that's willing to move on from a guy who's a proven top 6 forward in his 20s, right? And so who are those guys? There's not a lot of them that are going to be Robertson, Nyes level difference makers that become available. So that's the biggest challenge for Davidson, is not just getting the deal done, but just finding who they are.
Yeah, that is totally fair. Jay Zawatsky joins us from Chicago. The Blackhawks, their Elliot Friedman had it out last week that supposedly the Hawks, and they're, hey, you know what? We're just going to allow you to see if you can negotiate a contract with one of our forwards and Ilya Mikheyev. And then they're like, no. That's not how it works. So is it a lock then? Mikheyev's not coming back to Chicago?
I don't think so. I think what they're doing is, they did this with Ryan Donato last year. Ryan Donato 2 years ago had 31 goals, 31 assists, 62 points. Best year of his career, best year he'll ever have. And he was an unrestricted free agent at the time. And they basically said, we want you back. Go see what's out there and then come back to us. And let us know if you find something, and maybe we'll beat it. Maybe we'll match it, maybe whatever. And they did that. They gave him what he wanted and more, probably more than anybody else would. I think they want Mikheyev back. There's been a little bit of disagreement among circles about the Mikheyev thing in general, about even if they did say that his rights are available. To me, Elliot Friedman is the most plugged in guy in the NHL, so I don't question that. But Scott Powers locally in Chicago is the guy who definitely has his ear to everything Blackhawks, and he is reporting it a little bit differently. I think they want Mikheyev back. I think Mikheyev knows they want him back, And I think they're just going to say, look, this is probably your best chance for a big contract. Go see what you can find. We've got all the cap space in the world. Come back to us, and I think we're going to make you happy. And he had a great year last year for the Hawks. He is exactly what they lack. He's exactly what they need. But I don't think they're going to, now with all these contracts coming due, Nazar's new deal kicks in next year. Bedard will have his new deal. Some of these Frondells and these types are going to start becoming free agents. You don't want to tie up too much in a guy at that point who's going to be 36 years old.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, no, he's a great skater. He's a really good penalty killer. I get all of it, but how much now? Because I remember when they went on, they got Jason Dickinson for 4.25, and good player. And then they ended up trading him, but like it helped having Dickinson. He probably helped some guys learn how to play defense. But at the end of the day, it didn't help them in the standings. And I just think that they want to get past that point of just having good veterans who don't, like Nick Foligno, great guys, but it didn't lead to really much more winning. Now maybe it built some behind the scenes winning habits that we don't see, and maybe they'll come to fruition. But I was looking at their blue line again, and I'm like, God, I really like all their blue liners, but it's hard to learn the game when you look over and you're like, oh, hey, I'm Wyatt Kaiser, who's a really good defenseman. But like, is he going to ask Vlasic for advice? Is he going to ask Rinzel or Del Maestro or Korchinski? Like, these guys are all 23, 4, 21 years of age. Like, Connor Murphy had a lot of value there, I would think, because he could be the guy to help him. And I watched him play in Edmonton, and I was kind of surprised, actually, that they didn't play him more minutes in Chicago because he didn't make a ton of mistakes.
Yeah, he was just rock solid, for his whole tenure here. And it's funny, it took Hawks fans kind of a while to warm up to him because he was traded for Nicholas Hjalmarsson, who's beloved, 3 Stanley Cups, just absolute warrior. But Connor Murphy was basically, great value, Nicholas Hjalmarsson for his 9 years in Chicago. They are going to have to bring in a veteran. And I think that's the plan. I think a guy like Murphy, but they want a guy with a little more offensive game. And they want somebody on the left side. I think that's where they're seeing a big gaping hole right now. Matt Grzelcyk was really solid for the Hawks last year. They brought him in on a PTO, and he played very well. He was just kind of on a defense that struggled for most of the year. He was just unnoticeable, just very steady, did all the little things right, nothing spectacular. But I think they want someone a little bit better than that. So I think that would be where they would be active. In terms of playing Murphy, I'm not sure why they played him. I think they knew they wanted to deal him. They wanted to send him somewhere where he can win, and he has had some injury issues in the past. So they were very happy giving Levshunov 25 minutes. By the way, you mentioned Wyatt Kaiser. Wyatt Kaiser was basically Artem Levshunov's mentor. Like he was his coach on the ice. Like they just had this rapport where they played together in Rockford for a little while 2 years ago, and him and Kaiser just have this chemistry where they communicate very well with each other. So even like Wyatt Kaiser at this point in his career has already been kind of tasked with, okay, well, we're not very experienced, but you're one of the more experienced guys. So take him under your wing. You're 23 years old man. Start coaching for us. That's the kind of dynamic it was with the Hawks last year.
Yeah, and I think at some point you need some veteran guys around. Like, I remember Evan Bouchard talking about having Matthias Ekholm and how much that just really, like, Bouchard, obviously it doesn't make you more skilled. It just allows you to maximize your skill. I think a little bit.
I think one thing that we underrate as hockey fans and viewers is the off ice.
Yes.
Like learning, like it's you got a team full of these young guys. Like, hey, how do I pay my phone bill? How do I pay my rent or my mortgage? Like a lot of this stuff. They're living with, billet families, or they're, they just don't know how to live a life on their own. That's such a big adjustment, and not only that, now you have to go play in the NHL. To have those veteran guys around is hugely important. I do think like Foligno and Dickinson and Murphy were so big for these guys. And you still have Bertuzzi and Teravainen who have been around the block. They know, how to get through these guys too, but they're a little on the quieter side. I think they need another veteran that still has a lot of game left that can come in here and lead and also produce and help the team win.
Jay, quickly, any idea where they're leading right now? If there's no trades at the draft, who do you think the Blackhawks are leading out of the draft?
Boy, I feel like it's not a mystery, but the Sharks are such a wild card. If the Sharks take a defenseman, I think there's a real good chance that Ivar Stenberg is there at 4. And I think Kyle Davidson will sprint to the podium to make that pick, because to me, it's a very clear second pick. But the Sharks need a defenseman, and there's some pretty good defensemen that they can take it to. And then especially if Vancouver hires Manny Malhotra, are they going to pass on Caleb? And if you're totally rebuilding like the Canucks seem to be, don't you want to start down the middle versus at wing? Stenberg might be there at 4. If Stenberg's there at 4, I think that's the pick. If not, I think they very much like Malhotra, but I think Chase Reed, Carson Karls, who's a left-hand shot, that's something they need. One of those defensemen. But it's wide. The Sharks are just such a wild card. It's so hard to predict.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I think they got to go defenseman, but I could be wrong. We'll see who they like. Jay, great rundown, man. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you again soon. Have an awesome day.
You too. Anytime. Thanks.
There you go. That's Jay Zawoski joining us from Chicago. Interesting offseason for the Blackhawks, man. They got a lot of good young players. And, hey, Spencer Knight, he's a really good goalie. They got good defense. They're all young, but, man, Vlasic's good. Kaiser's good. Levshinov's good. Oh, Crevier, big, huge. Like, I got some towers back there. 6'8", 6'6", big bodies. Then you look up front, like Connor Bedard. Before he got hurt, man, he was on pace to easily have a 100-point season. Having a great year. He was actually outscoring Draisaitl through the first 32 games at one game of the season for him. So if he can continue on that, they got something. Frank Nazar, they need a few other pieces, but I like where Chicago is. Now, the Jason Robertson, now that's an interesting name. I still, like, if I'm Dallas, why am I letting Jason Robertson go? He's 27. Why am I letting him go? Because then I'm just searching for a 40-goal scorer for how long? It's rare that you get rid of one and you can just snap your fingers and replace him with another one. It's pretty hard to do. Quick break. We'll come back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. Get to Cam Tate, the 2-minute warning. We got some stats of the day. Ed Hervey's going to join us as CFL is here. The official games get going this weekend. And, of course, the Edmonton Elks will have their season opener on the road on Saturday. The season kicks off Thursday in Hamilton. Then you've got Friday night. Winnipeg is in Calgary. And then Edmonton takes on Ottawa on Saturday. It is odd to have two teams on byes in week one, but that's what they're doing. Saskatchewan and BC, who are on a bye, as well as Toronto. But Saskatchewan and BC will play in week 2, or Toronto will be in Montreal. Edmonton gets their bye in week 2. That's why I think that game one, massive. Get a win on the road. You got 2 weeks to kind of hype up your home opener. We'll return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Mr. Rooter buries evidence in the desert.
I didn't mean to do it. I was forced into it. Yeah, forced. But now, no one will ever know. You've done well, Mr. Rooter. You did something awful, but you covered your tracks. It's done. The last transcript that shows I did a semester of Christian school.
Uncover evidence of the proudest plumber, Mr. Rooter.
Say hello to your new favorite drinks. Introducing new McCafe Refreshers. Icy cool, undeniably refreshing, and available in 3 flavors. Strawberry watermelon, mango pineapple, and blackberry passion fruit. Only at McDonald's.
The sun's out, the pavement's warm, and that low rumble of a Harley rolling by? Oh yeah, that's calling your name. This is riding season, and if you've been thinking about a new ride, Harley-Davidson of Edmonton has the one that'll get your heart pumping. With a huge selection of new and pre-owned bikes, there's one waiting for you. Whether you're upgrading or just getting started. And while you're there, ask about test rides, because the only way to know is to ride it. For more details, visit Harley-Davidson of Edmonton on the Yellowhead Trail, locally owned and operated since 1980, or at hdedmonton.com.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project.
Visit actionelectrical.net.
It's like a locker room, minus the smell.
Ew.
Kevin Carius brings the banter, the buzz, and the bold sports talk. Weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Sports 1440, Edmonton's home for sports.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Sharing. It's simple. It's what we were raised to do. But somewhere along the line, the world got bigger, colder, and the idea of sharing got lost. But not at Service. Because when you bank with us to reach your goals, we share our profits in cash, just for banking with us. For mortgages, investments, daily banking, and more, our profits circle back to you. Bank more, get more money back. Full circle banking, only at Service Credit Union.
Anybody know how much an umbrella is?
Now open
Oh,
and in
wait,
great
let's look.
condition. Experience
Let's
our
ask Mr.
championship
Google.
length golf course, surrounded by trees and rolling
Sports.
terrain, and only minutes from Edmonton.
14.40.
Book a tee time today. Go to CougarCreekGolf.com and click on golf.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
This is Cam.
Oh.
14
Impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr.
1440.
Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Wow. Ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Get the puck drop special at Papa John's, a large 2-topping pizza and 8-piece wings for only $28.99 with promo code PUCKDROP at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Anybody know how much an umbrella is? Oh, wait, let's look. Let's ask Mr. Google, who apparently runs a little weather kiosk now. Mr. Google says anywhere from 15 to 150 bucks. 150 bucks for a stick with nylon on top? For that, you should get a tiny roof. A roof for a squirrel. And while we're shopping, rain suits. Fire those babies up. Fire them right up. 25 to 140 bucks. Or you could wear a heavy-duty garbage bag and call it fashion. Hefty is Italian for runway. That's not true. We get a call from Milan. Now, the folks who deal in numbers, the people who count things and nod seriously, they say tonight's big soccer game is pumping. Pumping. Not to be confused, of course, with the actual water pumps around Commonwealth Stadium. I bet they ain't cheap. Pumping water off the field, pumping rain away, pumping hope into the drainage system. Canada hosting Uzbekistan is expected to have a financial impact of 20 million big ones. 20 million? That buys a lot of umbrellas and several emotionally mature pumps. Now with this rain, as in rainy days and Mondays, hint, hint, there, Connor Halley, I bet that 20 million gets eclipsed. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Eclipsed by the emergency rain suit economy. Big Umbrella is having a night. Big night. Because we love soccer, don't we? We love it enough to sit in the rain and pretend our socks are fine. The ticket meter. Not to be confused with Ticketmaster. Different beast, different fees. The ticket meter says over 46,000 tickets have been sold. 46,000? People paying real money to get damp with purpose. They're gonna stand out there and cheer. Builds character. I built character once. Stayed inside. And despite the weather, I bet there will be lots of fans out there. Canada, Uzbekistan, puddles, rain suits. That's great. Oh, yes, yes, yes. I just hope it's an injury-free game, because that is priceless. 2-minute warning. Gregor Halley, Paulson. This is Cam Tate. Sports 1440.
1440. Tater. Funny dude. Subtle funny. Yeah, it's going to be a big crowd. And I know we've given away a few sets of tickets. People couldn't use them. They don't want to waste them. I love it. So should be great. Steve comes in now at $750 on the golf package. So we're off and running over halfway to get to face value. Always like to get face value in these packages that are donated by people and help out the charity. So 833-401-1440 if you want to tee it up. We got 2 hours left. We got a lot of time to pump this baby up a little bit. Coming up in hour number 3 on the show, Ed Hervey, the GM of the Elks. A little bit of pressure now. Now the roster's set. Obviously, there'll be some injuries. Guys are going to come in and out. Pretty big practice. Cons, am I dreaming? Did they double the practice roster? Didn't it only used to be 6?
It's not anymore.
Yeah. Isn't the guy? They got a boatload of guys on there, man. Yeah, they got 12 guys.
On the practice roster.
Yeah. Didn't it? I'll have to ask. I thought it only used to be 6 because that is that's massive. So you think about the practice roster guys, then you got the whole roster, which is a question. They're talking about the playoffs. To me, you should expand the roster by 2 players in the playoffs. Because usually, you got guys on the 46-man roster, right? But you don't play them, right? Because you're paying them anyway. Why not have them on the sideline? So there's less wear and tear on some of your other guys. Why wouldn't you do that?
I don't know. It's a good question.
I'm going to ask Ed about
you
that.
You can ask about the NFL too when they do that.
Yeah, it just makes sense to me. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We got a lot of texts on Ike Howard and Sam O'Reilly. If you think O'Reilly's better, that's fine. If you think Howard's better, that's fine. None of us know. I don't know. I can't say for certain. All I know for certain is they're born on the exact same day, 2 years apart. Isaac Howard's 2 years older. part of the trade for Edmonton was thinking, hey, we're in win now window, and we think Isaac Howard can help us sooner. But here's the truth. Even if Ike Howard has a better year next year, and Ike Howard had a really good first year of pro hockey, don't underestimate 24 goals in 47 games in the American League. It's chump changed. It's hard to do. He had the best goals per game of any forward in the AHL last year. Guys who played at least 40 games. I'm not talking some guy who played 6 games. It's hard to do. And now he'll have to try to go to the next level. Just like now Sam O'Reilly's going to go to the next level. I assume he's going to turn pro. I guess he could go NCAA, but I assume he's going to turn pro. And we'll see where it goes. But not every trade has to be a clear win or a clear loss. I think sometimes everybody gets caught up. Okay, you make a trade. Did we win the trade or we lose the trade? Well, sometimes it works out well for both teams. And if Howard becomes a goal scorer in Edmonton and O'Reilly becomes a solid third-line center, both teams are happy. Now, maybe O'Reilly can become a second-line center in the NHL. We'll see. But there's lots of guys who score 70, 80, 90 points in junior who don't get past the third line, man, because it's hard to score in the NHL. Way harder to score there than it is even in the AHL. So the fact that Howard scored in the American League, to me, that's a pretty big positive. But now he's got to do it at the NHL level. That's going to be even harder. And we'll find out this year. But he should get opportunity. It's not like Edmonton is blessed with an abundance of scores. They're just not. They don't have a lot of goal scorers, right? Pure goals. Like Zach Hyman scores goals, but he's not a shooter, right? He's around the net, crash and bang, awesome. I'm talking shooters. They don't have a lot of them. Howard's a shooter. Can he become a scorer? We'll find out. That's what I look forward to. Let's get to the comment and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. At Fountain Tire, they're here for all your vehicle needs and more. Their digital vehicle report, they don't just tell you what your car needs, they'll show you. Book your appointment today at fountaintire.com. And remember, boys and girls, turn your lights on, please. There's so much rain on the highways. If you're on the hen day, turn your lights on. It's going to make it safer for everybody.
The Sports 1440 update.
Down at Commonwealth, the men's national soccer team taking on Uzbekistan in a friendly, getting going at 7 o'clock. Canada will also play Ireland on Friday before kicking off the World Cup June 12th against Bosnia. Big day in the NFL. The Cleveland Browns shooting 2-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett to the round for 2-time Pro Bowler Jared Verse, a first, second, and third round draft pick, while the Eagles sending wideout A.J. Brown to the Patriots for a first and fifth round pick. And earlier today, Odell Beckham Jr. signing with the New York Giants, who drafted him in 2014. Major League Baseball getting going in about 40 minutes. You got the Rays and Tigers, Royals at the Cincinnati, Brewers host the Giants, Rockies, Angels, Diamondbacks, Dodgers, and the Mets in Seattle. And some French Open. Canadian Felix Auger-Aliassime advancing to the quarterfinals after beating Alejandro Tabilo in straight sets. Next up is Flavio Caboli on Wednesday. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll get to the stats of the day, ask 5 questions, and we'll be joined by Edmonton Elks General Manager Ed Hervey. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CHJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
1440.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
Albertans love to debate the best way to enjoy summer sports.
No. Playing on the field is the best, man.
No way. Watching from the sidelines, way more relaxing.
You're both crazy. Checking out the game from the Bro Zone is where it's at.
But there's one thing every sports fan agrees on.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
Wherever you catch the action, load up on Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Hey, hon, I'm getting expressions and images to frame my hockey card collection in the man cave.
Perfect. I'll come with you and bring our wedding photos.
For sports memorabilia and family treasures, think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Shoulder pain. It can make even the simplest things like reaching up, lifting a bag, brushing your teeth, or sleeping frustrating. Rotator cuff strains, impingement, arthritis, they're some of the most common issues we treat every day. I'm Grant Fedoruk, and at Leading Edge Physio, our team brings postgraduate training, evidence-based technology, and just the right amount of humor and humility to help you feel better. Because we never forget the most important part, the gratitude we feel for every patient who allows us the opportunity to care for them. Because life shouldn't hurt. When it does, leadingedgephysio.com.
At Wendy's, get a 10-piece nugget small combo for just $8.99. That's right, $8.99 for 100% Canadian chicken, plus fries and a drink. That's just good nuggenomics. Only until June 14th. In restaurant at participating Wendy's locations. Taxes extra.
Debt can take over your life. The stress, the constant worry, it can feel like you're drowning. When people come to see me, they're often anxious and feeling hopeless. But when I explain how I can help them get out of debt, those feelings melt away. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I will create a personalized debt relief plan so you can move forward with confidence. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Cougar Creek Golf Resort is only minutes from Edmonton, so it's incredibly easy to fit in the perfect summer game anytime. Enjoy our championship-length golf course, surrounded by trees and rolling terrain. Book a tee time today. Go to cougarcreekgolf.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
After 4 o'clock, how you doing? Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely, wet Monday afternoon. There are some areas we're getting some notification. Watch for pooling water. 34th Street between Sherwood Park Freeway and the White Mud, both north and south, has some real big puddles that border on flooding out some areas. So be careful over there. If you got any other ones, let us know. The bridge between 121st Street and 124th Street, the train bridge, is flooded underneath. So there you go. Thanks, Cat Dad, for that one. So game free. We're up to $750 on our golf package today. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. If you want to tee it up and enforce them this Friday at the ranch, all for Smash Out MS. It's a super fun tournament. I could tell, I don't say that for a joke. I've golfed in lots of tournaments over the year. This is a must golfer every year. It's loads of fun. And they got tons of prizes on there. You get steak, dinner afterwards. You get your breakfast beforehand. You get your golden tickets included in your entry fee that gets you all sorts of draws and win some stuff on the course. And if you want, you can tee it up with me. It's your choice, or you just go the four of you. It's your choice. It doesn't matter. 833-401-1440. It's at $750 right now. Let's try to get that up. Face value is around $13.50 for the foursome with the golden ticket and everything else. Some drink tickets that come with it, 2 for each person. So it's a really good deal. Lots on there. So it's not just the golf, it's everything else, food and everything else. So let's help them out today. It's Friday. It's going to be nice out, and all of us will be dying to get outside after being hunkered down in the rain for a few days. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Let's now get to our stats of the day, brought to you by All Star Construction, specializing in underground utilities, power, gas, telecommunications, street lighting, hydrovacing, and directional drilling. They also install the new street lighting systems. That is All Star Construction. So, a few things. Over the weekend, it was determined who's going to go battle for the championships in both the NHL and the NBA. We'll start with the NBA. As for the 8th consecutive season, which is the longest streak in NBA history, they're going to have a new winner. They haven't had back-to-back since the Warriors went back-to-back, right? Cons? I'm pretty sure that's it. So you look, but here's the thing. It's also 4th straight year that it's all different teams. Knicks and Spurs. Last year was Thunders and Pacers. Before that, Celtics and Mavs. Before that, it was the Nuggets and the Heat. So basically, more than a quarter of their teams have been in the title and have won a title in the last 8 years. And 14 teams have made at least one finals appearance. In the East, the Knicks, the Pacers, the Celtics, the Heat, the Bucks, the Raps, and the Cavaliers. In the West, the Spurs, the Thunder, the Mavs, the Nuggets, the Warriors, the Suns, and the Lakers. So that's pretty good parity when you think about 14 out of 30 have been to the final in an 8-year span. It's pretty good. You look to the NHL. The Carolina Hurricanes are into the Cup final. No team, since they went to 4 rounds of 7 games, no team has made it this quick. They've only played 13 games. They're 12-1. The closest, of course, were the Oilers. And now the Oilers do have the best record ever, 16-2 in 1988. Gretzky's last year, they were dominant as they rolled to their 4th at the time Stanley Cup championship. Carolina would need to sweep to beat the 16-2 record. So it's possible, but if they go 4-1, they could tie it. Still pretty darn good, right? Now the Hurricanes, as I mentioned, they've only allowed 15 goals in their 12 wins. The one loss was game 1 against Montreal. The Habs scored 5 goals on Freddie Anderson and then added an empty netter. Think about that. 15 goals in 12 games, and you had 6 in the one loss. It's kind of wild. Now, they had an 11-day break coming off of that, so we'll see. Now, Vegas, they're not chopped liver either. They come in. They've won 6 in a row, including sweeping the President Trophy Colorado Avalanche in the 3rd round. So 6-game winning streak for them. The Hurricanes are 12-1. You got 2 teams. They're going. Also, this might be a series where, getting a power play, is it going to be a big advantage? We'll see. The Hurricanes, their penalty kill is 92.4% so far in the series. They've allowed 4 goals on 53 times shorthanded. Now, they've been the most penalized team. 53 times in 13 games. That's 4.08. Vegas, a full 1 penalty kill less per game at 3. Actually, even more, because it's 4.8 to 3. But Vegas, they're not chump change either. They've only allowed 6 goals on 48. They're at 87.5%. Carolina's at 92.5. But Vegas has scored 4 shorties. So their net power play is 95.8%. Meanwhile, Carolina does have 1 shorthanded goal. Their net is 94.3. So both of these teams, very good on the penalty kill. On the power play, Vegas, pretty good. 23.9%. They got 11 goals on 46 chances. The Hurricanes power play, and this is where you really see like a lack of a real true dynamic offensive guy. Their power play is kind of meh. It's 12.5%. 7 goals on 56 chances. So while they take a lot of power plays, they get a lot of power plays. The Hurricanes, are averaging 4.31. So in their games, there's an average of 8.39 total power plays per game. Now, both teams are good penalty kill. Vegas is a better power play. Vegas might say, hey, we'll play the special teams game. We shall see. You look at leading scorers, Mitch Marner, 21 points, Jack Eichel, 18, Taylor Hall leads Carolina's played 3 fewer games. He has 16 points for the Hurricanes, as that line has really been carrying the Canes. Jackson Blake has 15, Logan Stankoven has 12. Their top line, and to me, this is where it's, if Carolina is going to win, I think they're going to need some more offense. Seth Jarvis has 3 goals. He has 8 points. Sebastian Aho has 4 goals, 2 of them empty netters, and 7 points. Svechnikov, 3 and 7. So those guys have combined for 22 points as their first line. It's not good enough. Right? Look at Carolina's top line. Oh, I guess 43 points from Hall, Blake, and Stankoven compared to only 22. So I know that Nick Ehlers can score some big goals, and their fourth line, like Eric Robertson's having a really good playoffs. But I think they're going to need some more from that top line in Carolina, because right now Vegas's guys, they're scoring more. And they're getting, you've got Eichel's line, you've got Marner's line. Then you throw in Brett Howden's got 10 goals. Dorofeev's got 10 goals. Barbashev's got 5. Stone's got 5, and he missed 5 games. So they're a little bit more balanced from their top 2 lines in scoring as you head into to this series. And lastly, of course, Canada tonight is outdoors. It's going to be a little cold out, a little rainy, but I don't think it's going to damper the crowd. Talking 45,000 plus for tonight's game. So hopefully you can enjoy it, and bring a raincoat. Bring a raincoat as Canada's taking on Uzbekistan tonight. It's our stats of the day, brought to you by All Star Construction. When we return, we're going to get to some the GM of the Edmonton Elks, Ed Hervey, as this season. I think this is the biggest season in Elks fan. Like, they're, last year was a step up, still not playoffs. I think they got to be a playoff team this year. And they need to, I think they've done a great job as an organization off of the field. Chris Morris and his group have worked really hard to kind of repair a lot of broken fences, a lot of broken promises on the business side. Right? They get brand new turf this year. They've righted the wrong. They brought back Dwayne Mandrzewczak. They've done a lot of good things. Now they need to win. So we'll get to that with Ed Hervey on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit, no credit? We got you. Text check to 780-777-7777. That's check to 780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 air conditioning install company for slushy lovers. Because while a slushy keeps you cool as an 80s song for a moment, AC from Legacy keeps you cold as ice all season long. A permanent full-body slushy sensation keeping you cold as ice with no payments and no interest for 1 year. Keeping you cool without the brain freeze. That's how you build a legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Cantork has always been a forward-thinking company, but now that we've turned 25, I can't help but take a minute to take a look back. Thank you to everyone that's been with us along the way.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Jason Gregor isn't just a sports guy. He's a community builder with over $3 million raised for local charities. And his Gregor Foundation, he's making a difference on and off the air. Check out Gregor weekday afternoons on Sports 1440.
What's that? Is that actually spring? Like no snow squalls or bad weather tomorrow? It's actually spring? Well, GS Construction welcomes the warmer weather because that means we can really get to work. Now, it doesn't matter if there was bad weather. This is our time to shine. But we can't do it without good people to do that work. That's why GS Construction is hiring pipe layers, topmen, and heavy equipment operators. If you want to join a team who loves their work, visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Are new McCafe crafted sodas just drinks or something more? Like Sprite Berry Bliss, Creamy Strawberry Coke, and Orange Dream. All swirled with fizzy flavor and topped with silky cold foam. Only at McDonald's. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and this is the time of the year most RV stores wish their lot was full. At the new RV stores, product is trickling in, mostly just for taking orders. But having an RV on order doesn't mean much when the weather's great for camping today.
No Bull has hundreds of quality used RVs on the lot now. Right, Rick?
That's right, Bob. Walk into No Bull RV today and you could be in the great outdoors next weekend. No waiting, no hoping it'll be here by summer, just the perfect used trailer, motorhome, fifth wheel, or toy hauler that you need.
And every RV at No Bull is one of a kind.
Every family is one of a kind too, Bob. Think we can't find the perfect one for you? Take a look around. At No Bull, you'll save thousands compared to the cost of a new RV. You can build your summer plan on hope, or you can know for sure. And ask about our Camp Ready service plan when you're here to make this the best summer yet.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Listen up, friends. Operation Pizza is a go at Papa John's. They're introducing new personal pizzas just in time to celebrate the premiere of Toy Story 5. These adventure-sized pies come in new exciting flavors like Sheriff's Roundup, Space Rangeroni, and Reach for the Pie. Or take your personal pizza to infinity and beyond by creating your own flavor just for you. Order 2 or more with Papa Pairings and get yours for only $9.99 each. New personal pizzas are ready for takeoff. See Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 5 in theaters June 19th.
Air conditioning from Legacy Heating and Cooling is like a country love song because you always know exactly what you're getting. Cause girl, you're hotter than Tennessee, cooler than Legacy's AC, blowing that southern breeze over me. Wheat fields, cold beer, pickup trucks, John Deere. You see, Legacy is that predictable because Legacy always has AC in stock and will install it faster than a truck burning down a back road. Plus, no interest and no payments for 1 year. That's how you lasso your Legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Barbecue season. Nothing like a great steak. Which reminds me, Metal Supermarkets has even created custom grill tops for rusted old barbecues. Just one of the many special requests they've received over the years. You'll be amazed what their skilled crew can do. Barbecue grills to grills for classic cars. Sky's the limit. Speaking of sky, that's a lot of smoke up there. Now, fire in the hole. My steak. So long, sirloin. Metal Supermarkets, the local convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by UL, helping you finish your electrical project. Is their goal from pot lights to electrical panels? The gear you need is at ul.ca or in person at one of their Edmonton area locations. ul.ca, your partners in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.424, welcome back. Bobby gives us another traffic update. All 3 lanes are closed heading west at 97th Street and Yellowhead. So if you're over there, you might want to avoid it. It's going to add a little to your commute on the way home. And Nick is now in at 8:50 for the golf. We're getting closer. Let's get it up a little bit. Of course, retail's $13.50 for this foursome to tee it up on Friday, and then yours truly will play it. They were going to have a great time. It's an unbelievable tournament. Loads and loads of fun at Smash Out MS. And I know there's lots of people battling with it. I know they're still looking to try to figure out why MS is so prevalent in Alberta, one of the most impacted places in the world. So it's definitely important, and you never know when someone in your family is going to get it. So this could be your pay it forward opportunity to have a little bit of fun golfing on Friday. As now we're going to get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Ice Center, and they are hosting a pretty big name, pretty big show. Gene Simmons in studio. Well, not in studio, on stage, playing all the big hits coming up in November. Get your tickets, silenticecenter.com. As we are joined by the GM of the Edmonton Elks, Ed Hervey, joins us as the Elks are now 5 days away from their season opener in Ottawa. Ed, welcome to the show, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Jason?
I'm pretty good. So first of all, they expanded it. So now the practice roster is 12 players instead of 6. How much of a benefit is that to you? And how do you have to maneuver all the extra bodies around?
Well, obviously, the more players we can keep around, the better, especially coming out of training camp. You have these guys play you for several weeks, and in some cases, a year prior, and you're still in the developmental phase of their careers. And, the injury bug can hit you early or it can hit you late. So just with the opportunity to have these 2 extra players just benefits all rosters league-wide. And again, it helps the quality of the game because the more players that know your systems in the event of injury, the better it is. So for us, managing it's just a matter of the game evaluation that goes along with, the opportunity to keep a player that we feel has a chance to impact the roster if there was an injury, rather than send them home. So we're pretty excited about that, and really pleased that the league and the union were able to make that happen.
Now, Ed, so there was a report. I know right now you got Royce Mechie on the 6th game. And I think it's later in the week. When's the day that you can add other guys to the 6th game? And do you have some that you're expecting to put there?
We can add the guys to the 6th game right away as far as setting our roster. But we have the 24 hours before the game is when you'll start seeing the actual other transactions that are laid out. But with respect to those players, we can add them now if we wanted to. But we're sometimes we're waiting on more information as far as MRIs and different things like that.
Okay, so just seeing if maybe they'll be back sooner, so you don't want to put them. You just put them on a 1 game and a few times like that to see if it's beneficial or not. I know you've always talked about it. One of the key things is to get through camp without some serious injuries, and I know you've had a few on your D line. But other than those 2, are you pretty injury free? Other than Barlow and Newell?
Yeah, I think for the most part. I don't think anyone escapes camp unscathed. But with respect to who will have available to practice for us, and the guys who are available for the game, I think we're in pretty good shape considering.
Okay. Ed, you look at it for your team, and obviously this is year 2, and what happened prior to you isn't nothing that you did, but sometimes you inherit problems, right? And so it's an organization where, you took some steps last year, and the organization's done a lot of things, yourself and Chris, to kind of repair some fences in the marketplace and stuff. But winning cures a lot of things, despite what some people think. Well, I think winning is the most important thing. But when you look at it, do you feel that pressure for your team to get off to a good start? Like the team hasn't won their first game of the year in like 8 years.
I think, I believe that the biggest thing for this football team has been from the start of camp. That's where we needed to start fast, right? And with our preparation and understanding what's being asked of us, the returning players coming in the best shape that they could come into the season with, and helping guide the young players who have a chance to make the football team, getting those guys ready. I think we're at the point of this season where we're the players are familiar with the schemes. They're familiar with one another. The difference between last year and this year was we were building a foundation of players and having a chance to see them play. I think this year we have continuity on our side, which we didn't have last year. And with respect to the game that we're going into, I mean, every team has improved this year, league-wide. And but we feel pretty good about the roster that we have, and we're fired up about it. As far as fast starts, I don't know if this opening game will be indicative of what a fast start means. I think when we look at the start, obviously we want to remain competitive in the first third of the season, so we're not digging ourselves into a hole and trying to play catch up in the latter part. So for us, we're going to take it one game at a time. But this opening game for the football team is important on so many levels with respect to how we show, how we look, and more importantly, just being looking like a team that can actually compete and win a few games early, rather than struggle out the gate like this organization like we've done in recent years.
You look at your defense specifically, Ed, and we'll get to the offense in a sec, but looking at the defense, you return pretty much everybody in your secondary. You've got same in the linebacking core. You got some new faces, but lots of veterans still on the D line. If you had to compare defense week 1 this year compared to defense week 1 last year, just when you throw in experience and what you can call as a defense, how much better do you think your defense is?
I'd like to believe that the continuity that we continue to speak on is the advantage that we have. Those guys having a chance to play together, right? I think that's the big advantage for this group. Last year they were feeling their way through the defense and feeling their way around playing with one another, and the trust factor that isn't there. The first game last year. There's a lot of talent there and hope, but the game experience, you need the game experience playing together before you can gain that level of trust. And I think the difference between last year and this year is that the trust is there amongst the group, and because of that, there's opportunities to go out there and hit the ground running, and we feel we're pretty good on D. But again, they have to go out there and show it. We can't live on last year's results. We have to, make a difference this year. And I think those guys are really fired up about the opportunity to do that, because, they've played together, and they've, just watching them, communicate, they look like they were in mid-season form. But again, I don't want to get ahead of myself with respect to how they are. But just the communication level definitely was in mid-season form. So that's something to feel good about.
Offensively, you revamped the offensive line significantly. And, you bring in Bordner. Of course, you got Jordan Murray, you got Coulter Woodmansey. Carter O'Donnell came in late last year, but that's essentially it's 4 new guys from the starting lineup from your O-line last year, Ed. And, more aggressive, I think a little bit meaner, maybe more athletic. How do you feel you can take that O-line and maximize it to benefit your offense?
Well, again, that's a big part of it for this group, having a chance to play together. I think if you've noticed the approach from us during this preseason was giving these guys a chance to play together. The continuity that they needed to have in playing together wasn't there like it was for the defense. And I think with what we did with the first team, especially on the offensive line, giving them, first half of the first preseason and the first half of the second preseason, giving them a chance to get into a rhythm with Cody and the other quarterbacks. And our hope is that with that, we expect the rhythm to carry into the first game. And again, they have to play together and play with one another and gain that level of experience. But we feel, we have guys there that can do that, and we have CFL experience within that group that should make a difference from last year to this year.
What about the receiving core? Ed, obviously it's a position you know very well, having played it. Do you feel you have, obviously you're pretty blessed. You guys had some really good receiving cores when you played, and even when you won as a GM in 2015. Do you feel you've got like a burner downfield who can stretch the defense?
I mean, I think we have guys that can make plays down the field. As far as burners, I don't know if we again, I say this many times, but we're not a downfield throwing football team. That is not the strength of our team. Right? As far as the big arm and the big play down the field, we're more possession with our offense. The timing, even the throws that we do make downfield, we're not. I don't think you're going to see us, being that aggressive. I haven't seen it all camp, so I'm not sure that it's going to be something that we are going to do. But with respect to guys who understand the nuances of the offense, who understand how to get open, and guys who can make plays and guys who can do something with the ball after the catch, I think we definitely have improved there. And I think the entirety of the offense, as long as we're able to have success on first down. I think last year, watching on first down, we were quite miserable to watch on first down with very little success. And I think I know that the offense has made a concerted effort to change those things and do some things differently. And because of that, when you watch this play and during the preseason, you can see the difference in our approach on first down versus last year. So, I mean, I think that we should be good there. But with respect to just a burner running, a speed guy, even if we did have one, I don't know if we would be as successful pushing the ball down the field as other teams have been, and those teams that you spoke of in the past.
Now, I know, you talk about arm strength. Like Ricky Ray wasn't a guy that would chuck it downfield a lot, but he did it. Do you think that's something, Ed, that eventually you'll have to incorporate into your offense, is to at least so the defense has to be honest in that regard, and you do have to air it out sometimes?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But, with that, you have to take those chances. And, when we get to the point where we're doing that, we'll have a chance to see those things. Right. So in the short term, I know that we're capable of it, but like anything, right, you have to be in the rhythm to do that, and you have to do those things continuously to feel confident that you can. And I think we're still a work in progress with respect to that, if you really want my honest opinion.
Yeah, no, hey, I appreciate that. No, I think it's, it is one. Now, how much of that is play calling? How much of that is quarterback decision making?
I mean, I think the defense, sometimes it gives you what's there, right? And sometimes, whatever's called works, right? It's not to say that what's being called isn't working, but when you're talking about just taking shots down the field, I mean, that is a combination of both, right? It's whether the play is called for that and whether the opportunity is there for the player to make it. And I don't think that's saying that we're not, capable or unsuccessful. We will be unsuccessful at doing it. But usually, in most camps, and you see those attempts more often. And we're not that. We're more, we're more of your, possession type offenses as I see it. And again, there's opportunity to be successful with that. But I think last year, we were talking about throwing the ball downfield and having that type of receiver. Well, I think it's a combination of having that type of offense as well, and being willing to do those things. Otherwise, you're asking for something that isn't the strength of your team. And I think this year, we'll have a chance to see a little bit more of what our offense is capable of with what we have, and being able to not only go out there and move the ball effectively. I feel very confident that we can do those things, but I'm not sure that we're going to be the deep ball throwing vertical, team that you might be speaking of.
Ed Hervey joins us, GM of the Edmonton Elks. Their season opener this Saturday in Ottawa. Then they got a bye week, and then they'll open up at home on the 20th against Montreal. Ed, you look at, you've got some injuries that are coming up. Unfortunate really for Newell, a guy that you drafted last year, and we're hoping he'd come in. And then Bartle, I thought, finished the season pretty strongly. Is there anybody that you got through camp, and obviously you bring in everybody thinking they can compete? Was there a player or two who really elevated their play in camp to earn themselves a spot on the roster?
Yeah, I think, wide receiver TJ Luther probably is one that sticks out, for us. He was brought in late in the year last year, and he got nicked up early before we got a chance to really see him practice, and we held on to him and felt that the personnel department felt that he would be a guy that could make a difference this year in camp. And he even had a little bit of a setback in camp this year where we were starting to scratch our heads and wonder whether it was going to come and we were going to be able to see the talent. And then obviously he got into games and he was able to, continue to show and show he was, more than just, potential. And he's earned the opportunity to compete and it's him, guys like him that pushed out, receivers that were here last year that was starting for us. We felt that, he was worth the opportunity to continue to progress with. And he's the one guy that, I look at on the offensive side there, and it felt that, clearly there's an opportunity to continue to work with. And I think he's going to have a chance in the offense to really impact it throughout the season.
What does he do best as a receiver?
I mean, he's very, he's picked up the waggle really well. He's savvy, in getting open and more importantly, he catches the ball. He lines up where he's supposed to be. I think his football intelligence has been, especially within this offense, as I'm learning that it's a really, there's some complicated stuff, some nuances that require a high level of attention to detail. And the guys who are able to do that within this offense are the guys that stand a greater chance of having success in it. And he's shown not only the ability to understand, the offense, but, line up correctly, be where he needs to be and where the quarterbacks expect him to be. And I think, and I know for certain that where the coaches expect him to be. So when you look at those things, those are arrow up for a guy. But, again, going into the season, he's, young receivers going to get an opportunity to play here. And, we feel like he's going to be able to do those things, especially, lining up along, Austin Mack and Robostelli and those other guys, is that there's a great opportunity to really to flourish and grow. And so he's one of those guys that just, throughout camp, there was some consistency there and that just kept showing up. And we're quite, excited to see, his continued growth and see where he can help take this offense this year.
And lastly, Ed, I know there was Victor Benjamin was a guy last year that you guys were kind of high on. Obviously, he got released, got picked up by Ottawa. What didn't you see from him in camp that led to the release?
I don't think it's what we didn't see from him more than anything. I think it was just the elevation of the other young receivers and their grasping of the offense. And again, we're talking about the details of the offense, right? And for a guy going into his second year versus the guys who are in their first year, the level in which those guys were able to pick up the offense and at the rate in which they were just, settling in and understanding where to line up and the depth of routes and all the other things that are asked of them. I mean, those are just sometimes the differences that separate receivers in this offense. It's not always about just plays being made. It's the trust factor that comes from the coaching staff as to where players are going to line up continuously, where the quarterback can feel confident knowing that the receivers are going to be where they're supposed to be. And I think that's kind of where the decision-making process for the wide receivers fell this year was the trust factor on players lining up correctly and being where they need to be and, having that level of trust, play in and play out.
Ed, as always, great to talk to you. Enjoy the trip out to Ottawa and hope you come back with your first win of the season. Appreciate your time.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having us on. We're excited.
There you go. That is Ed Hervey, GM of the green and gold in Ottawa on Saturday. And so TJ Luther, Elks fans, somebody to watch for, who really earned his spot on the team. And he'll be wearing number 88. And some other guys, I'm hearing Boyko likely won't be ready to start the season. Also the what's his name? One of the linebackers whose name is escaping me right now also is banged up. So we'll see. They'll probably announce that on Thursday, I would think, once I get to the full roster, and away we go. But the O-line overall, all the starters are ready to go. Defense is good. I'm very curious to see how they rotate the middle linebacker with Mogensen and of course the rookie of the year a few years ago, Nick Anderson, just to kind of see how it plays out there. And then on the D-line, Cons, the D-line's had a few guys step up here. You were talking about that. So one thing you noticed at the game was how much more consistent pressure you were getting from the D-line.
Yeah, I mean, and that was something that was missing big time last year from this group, and it was evident. And yeah, they got home a couple times in the game. We saw Pace and Brankman and Jubinor get home, so that's big. Like it's not all about sacks, Gregor, because I say that sometimes and I'm like contradicting myself. But you got to get pressure, right? You got to throw the timing of the quarterback's throws off. So getting home is always nice. You love to knock them back a few yards, but got to find a way to get more consistent pressure for sure.
Yeah. So obviously Malik Carney is going to help in that regard. They got a few other guys. Robbie Smith, healthy, should be a big help. Tamari Fox is somebody that's always looked good for me. Brinkman, if he can stay healthy too, it's got just an endless motor. So there's reasons to be hopeful for the Elks, but now they got to put it together. Quick break. We'll come back. We got 5 questions. We'll update you on our package today and more. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
Your weekend hotspot is at On the Rocks.
Party with Edmonton's best bands every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And we got them all.
From the Barkells to Tallboy, Radioactive, Curves, the Brute Squad, Morningwood, Roxilla, Punch Buggy, and more.
Plus, the guy who keeps the party going every weekend. DJ Kenny K on the ones and twos, live.
Get ready to have a good time this weekend.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave and 118th.
The Brick is thrilled to introduce the new exclusive Shaquille O'Neal home lineup of furniture. Each piece features premium Shacopedic memory foam for exceptional comfort, made to be lived in and loved for years. Each piece is built on a strong hardwood frame, offering sturdy comfort day after day. Head to any Brick location and snap a photo with Shaquille O'Neal. A life-size Shaq is waiting in store. Scan the QR code and upload your pic for a chance to win one of 4 Shaquille O'Neal home pieces exclusively at The Brick, saving you more.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 Throw the load down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Start thinking spring road trips and off-road trips in your new Subaru Crosstrek. Stylish, rugged, and so many features. Standard on every Crosstrek. Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive, EyeSight driver assist technology, heated seats, and LED steering responsive headlights. Plus, with interest rates from 0.99%, you'll love the affordable weekly payments. No waiting, immediate delivery available. Subaru Crosstrek. Visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers, and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned. Over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. The goal of every one of the thousands of hair restoration procedures I've performed is a full, natural-looking head of hair. I work directly with my patients for the consultation, the procedure, and the follow-up, so we can achieve the best results possible. When people see what we accomplish, I don't want them to think, "Wow, great hair transplant." I want them to think,
"Wow, great hair."
Go to drvanceelliott.com and contact us today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada. Workstream isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely, wet Monday. Turn your lights on out there if you're driving home, because it is, especially if you get on a little bit of a freeway or the end of the highway and all of a sudden no one can see. So get your lights on. It'll help you out. Auto doesn't really help your rack lights, FYI. Let's get to Connor Halley. And 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. They're thrilled to introduce the new exclusive Shaq O'Neal home lineup of furniture, including Shaq-O-Pedic memory foam for exceptional comfort in all of them. Check it out right now at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1. We talked on it a little bit, but did any of the Elks roster moves surprise you for the upcoming season?
Nah, not really. McGriff looked good early as a receiver, but Luther clearly beat him out down the stretch. I guess, I know they thought Hilaire was going to be one of their main guys. He didn't even crack the lineup. So that shows you that, they let competition go. Now, I'd be curious to see how many of these guys who are on the practice roster to start are going to find themselves on the game day roster sooner than later. But I'm going to go with the receivers. I didn't see any other major surprises.
I'm with you. That was the one that stood out. Benjamin would be one that I kind of thought maybe just retaining a roster spot, but getting beat out. You do have Hilaire sticking around on the practice roster, but Luther was a guy, the first thing I said, 88's a nice number for a receiver. And then he backed it up on the field, did some good things after the catch as well. So intrigued to see if they get the ball in his hands once the season gets going. Question number 2 for you. We got Canada, Uzbekistan tonight. Is there 1 or 2 players you're looking forward to checking out?
Go ahead.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to just go right back to the goalkeepers. Who's it going to be? Dane St. Clair, Maxime Crepeau. That's the one that I want to see who eventually gets the call for that spot. But that'd probably be it for me. Kone as well will be someone to watch in the midfield. But those are the 2 ones. The questions between in the net there.
Yeah, Kone is the one for me. There's really, there's Jonathan David. I'm curious. How much is he going to play tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Would be I think he might be the most important player for Canada, because you got to score some goals here to win at some point at the World Cup. And he's obviously scored lots of levels. I think they'll need him. So I'm kind of curious. And the other thing is just overall, how is Canada going to attack? Do you want to practice some of the things, or is this a game where you show nothing because you don't want your opponent to know what you're going to do come June 12th?
Yeah, I'm also not a player, but the weather, how much that impacts it. And crazy news from Marcelo Flores. I don't know if you saw that over the weekend.
Yes.
Ruptured the ACL.
Awful.
Terrible. We have to wait 4 years now to get back into it. Question number 3 for you. In the next 5 NBA finals, how many of them would you think will feature the Spurs or Thunder?
Oh, 2 good young teams. And we might have to have a conversation about Chet Holmgren here. I've always thought he was kind of overrated, man. But oh my God, like why they kept him on the floor? He did nothing. I couldn't believe it. But anyway, like that guy makes a lot of money to do a whole lot of nothing. So, but like the Thunder have so many draft picks coming, Cons. I don't see how you can't see them. So I will say out of the next 5, I know there's been a new team, for the last 4 years and lots of teams here, 14 of the last 8. But I think we're going to start seeing a little bit of a Spurs Thunder run. So I will say out of the next 5 in the West, they'll make up 4 of them.
Yeah, I mean, hard to disagree with you. And yeah, Chet, like, looked like you want to be out there, kind of dropped off after the Lakers series. I might even take it a step further, and it's crazy because you need so many things to go right, and the team has to stay healthy. But my goodness, if you got SGA out there on one side, and then Wemby just seems to be an absolute freak in a good way, I might have those two teams kind of running the West and going back and forth all 5 years. They're just both so good. I don't know who else is there. There's some good teams, some teams that are aging as well, which I don't think is going to help. So yeah, I'll go crazy and say all 5 years we might have it. Question number 4 for you. With the acquisition of Myles Garrett, would the Rams be your clear-cut Super Bowl favorite?
Good question. Are they no, I can't put them as clear. They're good though, but I don't think I'd put them as a clear-cut favorite. I don't know if there is a clear-cut favorite, to be honest.
I would right now. I mean, I just think that pass rush, like, couldn't afford eating up the double teams. Now we got people saying Aaron Donald is coming back. Wait and see on that one. But if they stay healthy, and I'm just going to say if Matthew Stafford stays healthy, they're my clear-cut favorite. I think they just have such a good team, and Sean McVay is such a good coach. I think that Myles Garrett can put them over the top. Final question for you. Morgan Freeman turns 89 years old today. Of all his films, what would you say would be your top 3?
Go ahead.
Man, he's got so many good ones. It's not even that hard for me, even though he has so many good ones. Shawshank Redemption, 7, and The Dark Knight.
Ooh, man, Morgan Freeman's top films. God. Well, I don't want to copy you because I do love 7. But I'm gonna go with Invictus. I love that movie. And I'm always a sucker for true stories. So give me Invictus. Well, I have to go with Shawshank. How can I not? Like, sorry. It's too good. And I will go with, well, this one's tough. Might go with $1 Million Dollar Baby.
Good pick.
Yeah. God, he has lots of good ones, man.
Have you seen Glory?
Yes.
That's one I need to see.
Oh, you haven't seen Glory?
No.
Yeah, I saw that a long time ago, but it is a really good movie. Good war movie. So, did you see Kiss the Girls? It's another good one. God, I want to watch 7 again now that you mentioned it. That movie is so good. Really good. A lot of people said Bucket List was good. I never seen it. I just couldn't get into it.
Along Came a Spider.
Oh, yeah.
That's one I have seen.
Yeah. So, no, he's Invictus was awesome. Have you seen that?
I don't think so.
Oh, buddy. It's great. True story. Loved it. So, right. It's about.
Oh, the rugby one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Matt Damon.
Yeah.
So,
Clint Eastwood directing. So that's always a good sign.
It's always a good sign, buddy. Always a good sign. So. Hey, guys, I said it earlier. I'll say it again. The Rams are now miles ahead of everyone. Okay, Gene, a.k.a. Matt and LeDuc. See what you did there? It's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah. Gene was swearing that he didn't get to say that one first. Come back. Mark Spector will join us. And let's say we'll get this. It's a final hour of our auction today. So let's get it up. We always like to get close to face value. I know it's a rainy day today and you're in a bad mood, but it's going to be nice on Friday. 20 degrees weather. You can get a foursome in golf at the MS Smash Out tournament at the ranch. Great tournament course. Includes breakfast and includes dinner afterwards. Get you the golden ticket to get in on all the stuff on the course. I'll golf with you if you like in your foursome. It's yours. So it would be a fivesome. It's your choice. 833-401-4669. 1440. We're up to $900 right now. Retail is $13.50. So let's try to get this up. 833-401-1440. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Here's a con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC, where you stop in. If you're looking for a vehicle, you know what? It's rainy outside. Don't have much to do. Well, now's the time. Stop in, check it out. Hey, how's this baby? How's it feel in the rain? Always good to try it out in less than ideal conditions, because then you know it'll be great in the good conditions. NorthgateGM.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
We've got soccer down at Commonwealth tonight. The men's national team taking on Uzbekistan in a friendly, getting going at 7. Canada will also play Ireland on Friday before kicking things off at the World Cup June 12th against Bosnia. Huge day in the NFL. The Cleveland Browns trading 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett, to the Rams for 2-time Pro Bowler Jared Verse, a first, second, and third round pick, while the Eagles sending A.J. Brown to the Patriots for first and fifth round selections. Odell Beckham re-signing with the Giants. He originally drafted there in 2014. Major League Baseball, 2 games underway. Tigers on top of the race 2-0 in the second. And it's early, but the Marlins lead the Nationals 1-0. Later on tonight, the Rangers in St. Louis. Angels host the Rockies. Dodgers get the Diamondbacks. And it's the Mariners and Mets. At the French Open, Canadian Felix Auger-Aliassime advancing to the quarterfinals after beating Alejandro Davilo in straight sets. Next up is Flavio Caboli on Wednesday. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet, and we'll look at the NFL with Brian Diardo from CBS Sports. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Get ready for a night of rock with the Gene Simmons Band. Monday, November 30th at Silent Ice Center in Nisku. The Gene Simmons Band, performing your favorite classic hits. Monday, November 30th at Silent Ice Center in Nisku. Tickets on sale now at silenticeCenter.com.
Connor.
The Gene Simmons Band.
Listen up, friends. Operation Pizza is a go at Papa John's. They're introducing new personal pizzas just in time to celebrate the premiere of Toy Story 5. These adventure-sized pies come in new, exciting flavors like Sheriff's Roundup, Space Ranger-oni, and Reach for the Pie. Or take your personal pizza to infinity and beyond by creating your own flavor
Chevrolet
just for you.
Buick
Order 2 or more with Papa Pairings and get yours for only $9.99 each. New personal pizzas are ready for takeoff. See Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 5 in theaters June 19th.
From the locker room to your radio, Sports 1440 is Edmonton's sports leader. Real talk, big personalities, and your texts. It's interactive. It's fun. It's where Edmonton talks sports. Sports 1440.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 air conditioning install company for slushy lovers. Because while a slushy keeps you cool as an 80s song for a moment, AC from Legacy keeps you cold as ice all season long. A permanent full-body slushy sensation keeping you cold as ice with no payments and no interest for 1 year. Keeping you cool without the brain freeze. That's how you build a legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
The Brick is thrilled to introduce the new exclusive Shaquille O'Neal home lineup of furniture. Each piece features premium Shaq-beaded memory foam for exceptional comfort. Made to be lived in and loved for years. Each piece is built on a strong hardwood frame, offering sturdy comfort day after day. Head to any Brick location and snap a photo with Shaquille O'Neal. A life-size Shaq is waiting in store. Scan the QR code and upload your pic for a chance to win one of 4 Shaquille O'Neal home pieces. Exclusively at The Brick, saving you more.
What's it like to score a winning deal at Car West Leduc? Like raising the cup in your hometown on your birthday. Feel it now at Car West Leduc. Experience a vast, uncompromising selection of top-quality used vehicles with no extra fees. Trucks, sedans, vans, SUVs, and more. Backed by family-run service and top dealer ratings on Google. So when the final siren goes, you go home with a deal you'll never forget. Car West Leduc, 6514 Sparrow Drive Leduc, or at carwestautosales.com.
Hot coffee, hotter takes, and the sports stories that matter. Check out Kevin Carrius weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440. Be part of the conversation. 833-401-1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by 01 Athleticare, Edmonton's multidisciplinary health clinic at West Edmonton Mall. Physicians, physio, massage, sports psychology, and more. One team, one roof, one plan. Book now at 01.ca. That's ZERONE.ca.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Just after 5 o'clock as we make your way home. Hope you're having a lovely day. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Hey, boys, Lean on Me. Oh, that's another classic. Morgan Freeman. Very good movie. Oh, he's been in so many good ones, man. 7 is awesome. Unforgiven. The guy's driving Miss Daisy. Can't say I've ever seen it. So, I don't know. Hey guys, when I was a kid, Morgan Freeman was on Electric Company. Then he played a vicious pimp in Street Smart, and everything changed. Hey, everybody needs a role to kickstart their career. You never know. You never know. Obviously, he sold it very well. Good, that's what you want, right? I really believed he was a pimp. It's good acting. That's what you want, right there. So there you go. So after 5 o'clock, it's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. You can get in right now, the Jason Gregor Show odds boost specials. The Mariners and, hey, the D-backs, baby. Get on the D-backs right now. I don't mind them at all tonight. A little MLB action. Of course, Canada's taking on Uzbekistan tonight down at Commonwealth. If you're going, make sure to bring your rain gear, as I'm sure you're well aware of. It's a little rainy out there. Now, the good news is the rain is supposed to end here, I think by Wednesday, which is nice. And Friday, we do have a package today. We're currently at $900 to golf. You get a foursome to golf this Friday at the Ranch Golf and Country Club in the MS Smash Out Golf Tournament. Includes breakfast, includes dinner afterwards. You get the golden ticket to get in on all the games and everything on the course. You get some balls. You get a tee prize with it. Also, hey, I'll golf with you if you like, because I'll be there, and we could school Carrius' team if you want. Let's make a little competition, right? Like, he had the shot of his life. He'll never do it again. He had a hole in one. It's not happening again. Okay, I've seen him golf the Ranch. Even though he golfs there all the time, you'd think he'd be better, but he's not. So we could take down Carrius' team. Maybe we'll have a little head-to-head wager. So either way, it's currently at $900 from Steve. So if you want in, 833-401-1440. And it'll be this Friday. It's an 8 a.m. at the Ranch. And I'm telling you, it's a big, fun golf tournament. If you like to have fun, yeah, you'll like this tournament. And for a lot of them, once the golf tournament's over, that's when the real Friday night partying begins. And you'll have a great time. So you want in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. As we get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists. And they are hiring right now. Top men, pipe layers, operators, just starting out. GSconstruction.ca. Look up careers as Mark Spector joins us. Spec, how you doing?
Morgan Freeman was on Electric Company. Is that true?
Yeah, I guess so.
Wow.
But sure he probably was.
Electric Company.
Cons will look it up and confirm it, but I don't see any reason why not.
That was like the hipper alternative to Sesame Street when you were a kid. It was like it was way cooler. Sesame Street
on
was,
cable, man, or I'm younger because I never saw Electric Company. So
I think he was on cable for sure. Yeah,
we're living
you
on.
had Farmer Vision.
Vision, 3 channels, buddy. Well, 4 because we had the French channel, so I understood what was going on there. Lancé Compte, buddy, the greatest TV hockey show ever. The French version of He Shoots, He Scores. Lancé Compte, unreal. Marc Gagnon, Pierre Lambert. God, that show was great. Oh, did you watch that show?
I remember He Shoots, He Scores, and I remember the French version. I didn't watch the French
buddy, it was
channel
so
awesome.
It was a young teenage guy. It was a great show. Susie Lambert, hello. So Spec, we got the Stanley Cup final.
Yes.
Carolina and Vegas. And Carolina's been knocking on this door for a long time. They finally crashed through the conference final. They're into a Stanley Cup final. They're 12-1. No team. I know people, I don't care who they played. They're 12-1. You're telling me no team in the history of the NHL has ever played, allegedly 3-week teams? Come on. They dominated them 12-1. So where do you come out here on Carolina and Vegas?
Well, first of all, I don't think Montreal knocked off Tampa and Buffalo, so they must. How bad can you be? Tampa's a good team. Buffalo was one of the top teams all season in that division, so I don't mind. They came out of the East fair and square. Carolina was so far and away the best team. It's not even, they were dominant. They were even more dominant through their playoff run than the last 2 Florida teams have been, and those we all know how good they were. So I got no problem with Carolina. They're in their way here. Forget who they played. There's a lot of people making a lot of noise about this 1 versus 8 stuff right now, and I think it's kind of stupidity in my opinion. So anyway, I like Carolina a lot, and they've earned their way. And you know what? All this talk we had about, what were we calling it? Can't even remember. Was it the pillow fight division, the patty cake pillow fight, whatever? Yeah, who's in the Stanley Cup final and who beat Colorado that quick? Turned out to be a team from the pillow fight division. So, I know that isn't a sexy matchup, Vegas and Raleigh, and I know that people up here are kind of watching with half an eye, a lot of people, and I realize that the fan bases are small and the viewership won't be great and all that stuff. The hockey should be excellent. 2 really good teams, undoubtedly the best 2 teams out of each conference. I got Carolina winning it in 5 or 6 games, but I think it's their time. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I don't like one team significantly more than the other at all. I think both teams are good. And it was hard. It came down to me. I look at Carolina and I really like Jordan Stahls and his ability to just kind of squeeze the life out of it. And so I'm curious, does he get Eichel or does he get Marner's line? That to me is kind of the interesting matchup because they got home ice advantage for the first 2 games, right? Now, it's not going to be like he's not going to go John Cooper, I don't think, and, just be switching guys out in and out to make sure he gets the matchup. But I bet you he'll get it at least 50% of the time, if not more, on home ice. And so I think if Jordan Stahl, if they get the matchup he wants, I think it's going to be really hard for Vegas. So, and no one scored, man. Spec, they gave up 15 goals in their 12 wins.
That's crazy.
15 freaking goals. They haven't allowed more than 2 goals in any of the games they've won this in the playoffs. And they're playing all playoff teams. It's not like you go on a run where you're playing the 28th and the 26th and the 30th and the 32nd place team in a row, right? And you're spanking them. They're beating all playoff teams. And I don't care how good or bad you think they are. They're all playoff teams. They're not that weak of teams. And to only give up 15 goals, it's pretty impressive. So I know Vegas can score. And, but the power play, Spec, here's the thing. You look at Carolina's penalty kills, great. Vegas's penalty kills just as good, considering they've got 4 shorthanded goals. The only thing about this that might be a little less exciting is there might not be a lot of lead changes because there might not be a lot of goals.
Yeah, each team's been pretty effective defensively for sure. No one wants a bunch of 2-1 games. You got to see some scoring here. Come on. And, Vegas, I think Vegas is just fine being the underdog. They've been right. They came out of the division no one liked. They barely made the playoffs. They changed their coach with 8 games left. They're playing a guy in goal that had a lousy season and turned it on when it counted. And they're fine with where they are. They don't care who's picking them. They got a lot of swagger, the Vegas team. They've been a good franchise for all of their years. If they're not, with this, their third cup already they've been to. So I got a lot of time for Vegas, man. It's a good team. It's a good team. Where Carolina's issue has been, they've got close, but they can't close the deal. You can't say that about Vegas. They went to a cup, lost to Washington, got there the next year, beat Florida, and they're back again. So, find me a franchise with that much success in the short life that Vegas has had. Boy, Toronto hasn't been to a cup since '67. These guys have been to 3 cups in, what is it? Is it 8 years?
Yeah, well, 9 years, 3 and 9.
9 years.
You won every 3 years. They make
Pretty good.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
It's not bad at all. And so you look at them, and I guess we'll know, Spec, in a matter of 2 weeks whether or not the Oilers are going to get permission to speak with Bruce Cassidy. I get the sense that they're just going to wait and find out if Vegas, once the playoffs are over, if their focus allows them to grant permission to Bruce Cassidy, or if they don't. Do you think they do it? Is this just, it's well within their rights, but do you think once the playoffs are over that they will allow Bruce Cassidy to speak to other teams?
I have to say yes. I have to say yes. And all it is an opinion, because the only guy who knows, the only guy who's got any cards in his hand here, the only guy with any power over this is Kelly McCrimmon, and George McPhee in Vegas. No one else. Bettman's not doing anything about it, right? The Oilers can't do anything about it. And Bruce Cassidy came out and said, I can't even void my own contract and go out there and get a job somewhere else. He can't do anything about it. So there's only one team that has the cards here. It's Vegas. But I just, after the success they're having fired Cassidy, they've clearly got a coach. Don't tell me Torts isn't coming back next year. The guy's taking him to a Stanley Cup final. He's coming back. They don't, to hold Cassidy back for a year just because there's 2 teams in their division that happen to want to hire him. I've never seen it before. I'm not going to predict it'll happen for the first time ever, but I guess if it's up to Kelly McCrimmon, and if he wants to go down in history as that guy, I guess he can be that guy. But I wouldn't want to be that guy, would you?
Well, they've said they don't care about what people think. So if they don't, then hey. And really, at the end of the day, you know what? If Cassidy isn't granted permission, I don't think a year from now people can be like, oh, yeah. People will bring it up, but I don't think it's going to matter that much to him. I'm kind of fascinated. It adds a little rivalry in a weird way. I do think ultimately, though, he probably does get permission to speak to them. The Elks, Connor was at the game on Friday, said it was unreal being that close to the field. Unfortunately, there was a monsoon rain that delayed the game for an hour, but the Elks made all the roster cuts, and now they'll head out to Ottawa, Spec. And I've said Saturday's game is like in the history of the Elks, which of course was started in 21, and they haven't had much success. I think this is the biggest game in their brief history as the Elks. In 5 years, start a season against a team in Ottawa that you should be able to beat early in the year. Then you got a bye week, and you got 2 weeks to try to build some hype. Because as much as it's about on the field, like last year we saw a sign. There was games at the end of the year when the team started to win that you got close to 30,000 fans. I do believe people want to come, but you got to show them that you can win.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say the season opener is the biggest game in whatever. It's a big game for all the reasons that you state. I'm not, if this was your hot take question, I don't think I'm in on this is the biggest game in their history. They sure could make it a little easier on themselves by actually having a proper start to a season here. They're always climbing uphill. The Elks have spent, since they became the Elks, they had the massive record, how many games in a row without winning at home. They start every season 0-3, 0-4, 0-5. Like, they've been pushing the rock uphill, man, since the Eskimos went 6 feet under and the Elks came to town, And yeah, that could change, right? Like, you could make your path a little easier in terms of drawing, in terms of having credibility, in terms of people looking at you and saying, it's not the same old Elks. So yes, it's a huge game for them to prove to everybody that it's not just talk. Sure, you can hire new presidents and coaches and front office and promos, and great. Anybody can do that stuff. Put a team in the field that wins football games, and you're going to get people's attention. So sure, I'll tell you it's important. I'm not in with you that it's the most important, but it's a big game. It's time for these guys to start, doing, not just talking.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's exactly it. And so when you say you're not sure it's the biggest game, can you name a game that's bigger?
No, because they've never put themselves in a position to play a big game.
Exactly. So there you go. It's one where they made a lot of moves, and on paper they looked like they should be an improved team. So,
yeah, you got a point there.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's like a massively important game. I just think it's the biggest one because they really haven't had many games to have much to count for in that regard, for sure. A few other things, Spec, just around the sporting world. Big trade in the NFL today. You don't see the sack leader all-time get traded very often, and the Rams are loading up. But I want to get your thoughts, Spec, on the Jays. And what did you think of what is it all on Hoffman, or what did you make of the manager's decision to throw Hoffman in at the 9th there? Like, why wouldn't you have just went with the young guy? Why do you throw Hoffman in like a, I know they say that it's a, what's the new word that they use in base? Like, it's like a low stress situation, but Hoffman historically hasn't been good in those situations.
Oh, I mean, well, I don't know. There has been a time in his career when he's been a pretty good closer.
I know. When I say low stress, like it was 5-1. It wasn't a closing situation, right? Like there's no urgency. You're supposed to just cut, like, and I know it sounds dumb, but sometimes guys who are like this closer comes in and it's all stress, and they seem to be the best closers are really good at it.
Well,
you put him in with a 3 or 4 run lead, and sometimes they struggle.
He struggled for sure.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, man. I'm paying the guy was supposed to be my closer.
Yeah.
I'm paying him whatever I'm paying him, lots of money, right? He blows out as my closer. He can't close. So now I got this guy. What am I doing with him? Like, I got to try to rehab him. There is a closer in there. He's been a closer his whole career. I'm paying him to be my closer. He's part of my plan. He's supposed to be a closer. So at some point, I got to ease him back. He's lost the job, completely lost the job. Varland's my closer now, probably. But I got to ease him back in there somehow. Like, if you're the manager, what are you doing with this guy? Are you just going to pitch him in middle relief for the rest of the season and say, well, never going to be my closer again? Like, I get what they're doing. They're trying to ease him back in to that, the guy who pitches the last innings, and let's start when it's 5-1. Maybe he can pitch a 9th inning when it's 5-1. Well, it turns out, but I get the concept. I see what they're trying to do. This guy, there used to be a closer in there, Jay, right? There used to be one. Are you telling me there's never going to be one again?
I don't know, but it's not looking like it though. Hey, man, right now their closer's just too good. He's not going to win the job back from him, right? That's for sure. So we'll see where it goes. What's your thoughts? Lastly, Spec, we got the I know unfortunate weather today, but I love that there's still going to be lots of fans going to the game tonight for Canada in the friendly. But we are basically 10 days away from the World Cup beginning on June 11th. And of course, Canada plays on the 12th, a week from this Friday. And an opportunity to have their best World Cup ever. You get a win. Heck, you get a draw. That'll be the first point they ever had, so that'd be good. But I look at Canada, and I think they're set up really well to at least get to the elimination round.
Well, should be fun, right? We've had a couple runs here where Canada's been in the World Cup, and we've got all excited and thought, we're just happy to be there. I'm not sure that I think we're past that now. I think it's time to, you're right, to get some points and maybe get to the second round here. And it's been fun showing up, but I think we're ready to move past that. I don't love the injury situations here. I don't know where we are. I know they're
supposed to be ready by the second game. That's what they're hoping.
That's what he's saying. By the second game, they're saying that. I wonder what his club team has to say about that. We just lost another player on the weekend in Europe. That's not good.
Nope.
One of the fascinating things is I was fairly vocal when they picked all these Canadian cities and they left Edmonton out. And I thought, and I remember, I think Jason Kenney was still the premier, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not positive on that, but I remember it was such a bad deal that Alberta kind of said, you know what, I'm not sure we want to do this. And a lot of us were kind of critical. And Now you look at what's going on in these cities and what the cost is. Like the cost in Vancouver to host a few games has absolutely ballooned. The FIFA's come into town. They haven't treated people real well. And, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? I'm kind of thinking now, Edmonton, whoever was the decision makers back then, maybe I'll tell you what, I'll eat my words. I think they might have made the right call. What do you think?
Dude, I don't trust FIFA at all. I'm the biggest scam artist going. So
me too.
I'm in the Olympic committee, so I have no they don't give two rats about it. So I love, it's in Canada, great. Selfishly, unfortunately, I'm like, hey, you know what? You're not having taxpayers here left on the hook to pay for overpay for it. So I kind of
right. And you see tickets like in Toronto. I just saw a piece in the news the other day. There's tickets available for the first Canadian game, and the cheapest one's like $3,300. That's a lot of money for a soccer game, man.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of money for any game, man. Like
for any game, like
it's nuts. So I know there's lots of people who put their name in to get tickets, and then you know what? They put in their name to get tickets, and they weren't asked to see how many games. And now all of a sudden, they're like, God, I got a lot of tickets to pay for, and you're not going to be able to, resell them even at face value. So
no.
But I guess if you put your name into the draw, someone should say, well, don't put your name in if you don't want to win. So,
well, and I'm sure who's getting killed on this thing, it'd be the scalpers, right? The off sale guys that buy a bunch of tickets and try to sell them, they're probably getting really beat up here.
Yeah,
and
well,
frankly,
teams have kind of changed that. If you look at in big games, they up the price themselves. They'll ask Oilers fans how much they pay for a season seat. It's hard to,
it's hard to turn them over.
Yeah. Yeah. You probably shouldn't be making a business off of teams. I've never really loved that analogy. Good for people who do it, but I don't have much empathy if suddenly, you're on the hook for it and because you want to gouge everybody else to go to the game. So
if it goes sour. Anyway, listen, the World Cup's it's such a cool event, and no matter of all this ancillary stuff, like they're saying there's seats that are open in the States, and the visitors that were supposed to come aren't coming, and blah blah blah. They'll reap what they sow down there. But once the games start and they kick off, it's still one of the great events, right? It's a great summer event. Games between other countries that all of a sudden you find yourself passionate because Argentina's playing, Germany, and you're like, oh my God, this is the biggest game of the week. That's what's cool about it. You can really get sold into the World Cup. I've been watching it my whole life. I can always remember the summertime watching World Cup games when they're on. Looking forward to this one. Canada's got a shot. Go Canada, man. Let's go.
Oh, can't wait. It'll be a lot of fun. That's the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. And during that segment, Dingler hits a 2-run shot. And then Kelly Carpenter comes up next, home run. Followed by Riley Green as the Tigers go back to back to back. You don't see it very often. And they are now up 6-0 over the Rays. Quick break. We're up to 1,000 bones for Mark. 833-401-1440 in our golf package. I like it. 833-401-1440. We'll take a quick break. We'll return and talk about the big trade next. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
The Brick is thrilled to introduce the new exclusive Shaquille O'Neal home lineup of furniture. Each piece features premium Shacopedic memory foam for exceptional comfort, made to be lived in and loved for years. Each piece is built on a strong hardwood frame, offering sturdy comfort day after day. Head to any Brick location and snap a photo with Shaquille O'Neal. A life-size Shaq is waiting in store. Scan the QR code and upload your pic for a chance to win one of 4 Shaquille O'Neal home pieces exclusively at The Brick, saving you more.
Say hello to your new favorite drinks. Introducing new McCafe Refreshers. Icy cool, undeniably refreshing, and available in 3 flavors. Strawberry watermelon, mango pineapple, and blackberry passion fruit. Only at McDonald's.
Air conditioning from Legacy Heating and Cooling is like a country love song because you always know exactly what you're getting. Cause girl, you're hotter than Tennessee, cooler than Legacy's AC, blowing that southern breeze over me. Wheat fields, cold beer, pickup trucks, John Deere. You see, Legacy is that predictable because Legacy always has AC in stock and will install it faster than a truck burning down a back road. Plus, no interest and no payments for 1 year. That's how you lasso Know your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
.30, rolling through a busy Monday. Keep your lights on, boys and girls, or turn them on. It's pretty dicey weather out there with all the water and big puddles and splashing up everywhere. So it just makes it a little bit safer for everyone as we make it through a rare rainy few days here in Edmonton. I don't even, cause do we have like an update on how much rain has fallen since it started? Like early yesterday morning, like 7 a.m. It's been pretty much nonstop coming up here in like 35 hours. So it's pretty good rain.
Say a lot. My expert opinion.
Yeah, a lot. Good, great. Hey, how big was the trade? Really big.
Really big, yeah.
It was a really, really big trade. Awesome.
Apparently, it was 22.8 millimeters yesterday.
22.8. So 22.8 millimeters. That's it.
Apparently,
it's like 2 centimeters. Not even an inch.
Just per weatherstats.ca.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all right. But it's not like it's still a decent amount, but it's not like, oh my God, this is crazy, is it? Now, some areas are always different too than others, so who knows? We'll see how it goes. Anyway, let's talk a little football now as we get to our big trade report brought to you by Go Auto, where you can shop over 15,000 vehicles at goauto.ca. They got 31 vehicle brands, 73 locations to choose from. Goauto.ca. And of course, it's not very often you have a trade like we saw today in the National Football League. Brian Diardo from CBS Sports, NFL writer, joins us. Brian, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I thought you might call me on in early June to talk some NHL, but no, we're talking about what was an unbelievably crazy day in the NFL for a change for July.
Yeah, well,
June rather.
Everybody's waiting until that June 1st deadline for cap issues, all those sorts of things. I guess let's start with the big. Well, they're both big trades, but I think it's fair to say the biggest trade, of course, anytime you trade. Guy who just set the NFL record for most sacks in a season, Myles Garrett, goes to the Rams. Jared Verse, who was the Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2024, goes to Cleveland, as well as a first in 27, a second in 28, and a third rounder in 29. What do you make of this deal?
Well, I think it's very and first, thanks for having me on as always. But I think it's very indicative of both of the franchises' MOs and where they are right now. I mean, the Browns just constantly seem to be in a rebuild mode, and this just kind of continues that, which isn't a surprise. I mean, they have had an overhaul in their coaching staff once again, and it's obviously clear that they're trying to load up for the future. But I will say, and obviously for the Rams, this is way on par with them. I mean, there's all those kids out there saying, screw the picks, I chose a nicer word than what they actually say. But yeah, I mean, they don't care about draft picks. They want stars. They did this 5 years ago, right? They traded picks for Matthew Stafford. They traded picks for Jalen Ramsey, and they got a Super Bowl. And they were in an NFC title game last year. They lost 2 close games last year to the eventual champion Seahawks. So obviously this move makes a lot of sense for them. But overall, this isn't sexy sports radio, but I think this trade was good for both teams. Like I said, for the Rams, they're hoping that potentially Myles Garrett could be the missing piece for them. For the Browns, this is good on several fronts. Obviously, losing a franchise icon is always hard. I mean, what was it, the Oilers or when Gretzky left after the '89 season? I mean, that's one of the biggest departures in sports history, right? When he went to the Kings. So I don't have to tell hockey fans about this, but I will say for the Browns, if you just take away the icon leaving part of it, you get a very good player in Jared Verse. You get the draft capital. You get a lot of cap space, which the Browns they've been in cap space hell ever since the Deshaun Watson nightmare acquisition. Also, from a schematic standpoint, this helps them defensively because as great as Myles Garrett is, he forces the rest of the defense, specifically the defensive line, to have to sacrifice a lot for him because he moves around so much. And that does sometimes cause issues. Jadeveon Clowney famously a couple of years ago left because he frankly said, I'm semi-quoting him when he said, or paraphrasing when he said back then, I did not want to be a pawn in Myles Garrett's game. And so get a guy like Verse, who's more a systematic player, you get rid of that issue too. So, and Jim Schwartz is a really good defensive coordinator. This was a long-winded answer I'm giving you, but overall, for Browns fans that might be freaking out, I actually think this was a good trade for them.
Yeah, well, I like the trade for both teams. Right, like the Rams are like, hey, we got to win now. Let's go out and get the best guy. We're giving up a good young player, but you know what? We feel we got the better player today, and then they spread out their draft picks, over a course of 3 years, so it doesn't decimate them for one season. What about the other trade that was like the least or worst kept secret? AJ Brown going to the Patriots. They give up a first rounder in 27 and a first rounder in 28 and a fifth rounder in 27. How his production last year wasn't as good. How much do you think AJ Brown has left?
Well, I actually graded this trade for CBS Sports. I gave the Eagles a D+ because, Howie Roseman, I wrote this, criticizing him is like criticizing Steven Spielberg before, his movie comes out, which you feel like he gets the benefit of the doubt, right? And Howie Roseman might be the best general manager in football, but you alluded to it. I mean, A.J. Brown just scraped 1,000 yards last season. I don't really put a lot of stock into anything the Eagles did statistically last year. Their offensive coordinator got fired after just a year. It was pretty clear early on that he wasn't right for the job and probably wasn't fit to be an offensive coordinator. So, I think every player on the Eagles statistically struggled last year. Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, they all basically did. But I think beyond that, though, my issue with A.J. Brown, or my fear is, the off the field attitude issues, right? Not necessarily off the field, but just he basically got himself traded off of two teams because he emotionally detached from them. The Titans, after just 3 years left, because he, kind of checked out and was being cryptic on social media and in the locker room. And then the same thing happened in Philadelphia, where he basically just kind of killed their title defense last season, or was a distraction at nothing else, right? Now, before those things happened, he helped Ryan Tannehill have his best seasons as a quarterback, helped the Titans get 2 division titles, I believe 2 number 1 seeds. Now, they were upset in the playoffs in the divisional round both times, but still. And then goes to Philly, Super Bowl appearance, Super Bowl championship, and helped Jalen Hurts, have it at Super Bowl MVP, right? So, he can improve teams. He's proven that he can do that. He's proven to help quarterbacks. The question is, at some point, the relationship is going to run out. He's going to wear out his welcome. The question is, can the Patriots get at least maybe 2 years and maximize that relationship before it goes south? The biggest criticism I have of this trade is, how on earth did Howie Roseman only get, he got a first-round pick, but not next year. He got it in 28, not 27. And, when the Packers traded Devontae Adams a couple of years ago to the Raiders, they got, a first-round and a second-round pick. So surprised that they couldn't get more.
What do you expect he will do for the Patriots? Like, do you think is he just going to revert back? And is this guy going to be a top 5 receiver next year? Or this year, I should say?
I have him as a top 10 receiver. I don't think he'll be a top 5 guy. And I think in general, I think the Patriots are potentially in position to have a tough year. I think they could be this year's Commanders. A team that really surprised everybody the year before, got to the NFC title game. They got killed, but they at least got there. And then injuries happened and a much, much tougher schedule. And just the fact that they didn't get a lot better in the offseason. And now teams are zeroed in on you. You're not going to sneak up on anyone. And I think the Patriots are going to have to deal with that now. A first place schedule. No one's going to sneak up. They're not going to sneak up on anybody. They made some nice moves this offseason, but I'm not looking at their roster and saying, oh, they're a much better team. And let's be honest, if Bo Nix is healthy, the Patriots aren't going to last year's Super Bowl. So I think that, and what do they have that can take stuff away from A.J. Brown? I mentioned Tennessee. Well, he had Derrick Henry that was helping, open things up for him. Philadelphia, he had Devontae Smith. He also had Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts opening things up for him. Who's going to open things up for him in New England? So I don't think he's going to produce the way that he did in Philadelphia or Tennessee. I actually would be very surprised if he even got 1,000 yards next season.
Really? Ooh, I like it. Brian, has there been any other like off-season moves that you look at in the NFL this year that have really caught your attention and say, man, I think this is really going to help this team, or B, the player leaving is really going to hinder a team?
It's not necessarily a player, but I do think that I feel like Mike McCarthy going to Pittsburgh has kind of been under the radar. I don't think people are really talking about that and how that's going to affect the Steelers. And, they had they haven't had a losing season since 2003, 4 years before the first iPhone came out. So, I think that's kind of a thing that no one's really talking about. How good are they going to be? I mean, they're in a division with the Ravens, who are typically good with Lamar Jackson, the Bengals with Joe Burrow. If he's healthy, they're typically good. They brought Aaron Rodgers back, who's, he's 2 years older than me. If you're older than me at this point, you probably shouldn't be in the NFL anymore. And if you are, you're at the end. And so I think that for me, at least, I'm interested to see what happens there. And with Mike McCarthy, traditionally, every first year he has with the team, whether it was the Packers or the Cowboys, they have a losing season. And so, and there were a lot of Steeler fans, to be honest, that didn't want Rodgers back. They wanted to see Will Howard get a chance or Drew Aller get a chance. And also, speaking of the Steelers, we're working on something now for tomorrow about players that could be traded next, star players, whether that's George Pickens, Brandon Ayuk, Alvin Kamara. I think maybe potentially TJ Watt or Alex Highsmith or Nick Herbig gets traded from the Steelers before the offseason. I know a lot of people don't know about Nick Herbig. A lot of national people or outside of Pittsburgh. He's a very, very good player. Doesn't get a lot of time because he's playing behind Highsmith and Watt. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was a trade there. But just in general, the Steelers are a very interesting team to me because they're right in that tweener between a rebuild and trying to max out, the careers of a few other players in pursuit of that championship.
Brian, before I let you go, I know you're a big hockey guy. Who are you liking in the Stanley Cup final?
I think the Hurricanes are going to win. I know a lot of people were saying they tend to stub their toes, very similar to kind of the Knicks in the NBA, but they've just been such a strong team all year. And listen, as you alluded to, I love the hockey, John, and I appreciate the questions. I always want to talk hockey with you guys, and love John Tortorella, what he did for the Blue Jackets. I mean, we have just been the toilet bowl of the NHL for the most part of our existence, except for the years of Tortorella this year when we did some things. But I just think the Hurricanes, they've been the best team, I think, all year, and I think they're going to continue that, even though I would like personally if Vegas could get it. So that's my pick, Carolina.
Carolina, not a bad pick, man. It should be a great
series,
6-game series, and there you go. We'll see what happens. Their first cup in 21 years or more. Vegas is trying to win their second in 4, so it should be a hell of a series. We appreciate it as always, and we look forward to seeing. For fun, I asked you about AJ Brown's production. What about the sack man? How many sacks does Myles get now that he's a member of the Rams?
A lot less. I'm going to go like a 12 and a half, maybe. I mean, which is still a lot. Listen, I'm not going to criticize it, but I just think anywhere, a new team, a new situation, he's going to be going against guys like maybe Trent Williams and a tougher division. I just see the sack totals going down. He's also getting older. And really, if you take away last year, where he just went nuts with 23 sacks, and again, I think it's going to be big that he now, maybe for the first time, unless the Rams are going to revamp that defense and do what the Browns did, which basically let him play 3 positions and force other guys to sacrifice, I think it's going to be very tough for him to get close to that sack total that he had last year. One other thing about hockey was Ronnie Francis, the Hurricanes. Was he on the Hurricanes the last time they went? Because I loved him when he was a Penguin, and I know he went to Carolina for a minute.
I don't know. Rod Brindamore was there when they won. No?
I think Ronnie Francis was there. He may have been pushing senior citizenship, but he was there, I think. And so now that makes me want to maybe pull for them a little bit more because 90s Penguins, that's my team right there. And it bothers me that Mario Lemieux has never gotten the credit he deserves as far as being arguably the greatest hockey player ever.
Yeah. Ronnie Francis actually retired in before the lockout in 2004, and
he was on the 02 team.
Yeah, he was on
their 2002 team against Detroit. So my mistake there.
No, all good.
I'll stick to football.
No, it's all good, buddy. That's when he got traded his last year to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they did win a round.
Okay.
They lost in the second round back in 2004, and then I wonder if he would have played another year if there wasn't the lockout. I think, but at that age, it was pretty hard to sit out a whole year and come back. But that's the last one. So. It's good memory, though, buddy. Good memory, Brian. Always like talking hockey.
I haven't gotten over the 96 loss to the Florida Panthers. When Jaromir Jagr said famously before Game 7 he doesn't like playing Game 7s, which gave me a lot of confidence that we would go out and play well against Florida, which we did not. And I hated the Rats and everything. That's why that 30 for 30, and it's a shame what happened with Claude Lemieux, but I literally watched that 30 for 30 with him in it and then the whole great Red Wings rivalry with the Avalanche about a month ago. And so, yeah, I mean, if we had beaten Florida, we would have been in that series against Colorado, which I think would have been an epic one. But unfortunately, it didn't turn out to be.
Yeah, no, it did not. Brian, as always, buddy, great talking to you, man. Have yourself an awesome day and enjoy the Stanley Cup. Enjoy the NBA Final. We'll talk football with you again soon. Appreciate your time.
Anytime. Thank you.
There you go. That's Brian Diotter from CBS Sports. Huge sports guy. Love it. Loves talking hockey. We'll come back, Gregor, Paulson, Halley, wrap things up in the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Action Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy, designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Listen up, friends. Operation Pizza is a go at Papa John's. They're introducing new personal pizzas just in time to celebrate the premiere of Toy Story 5. These adventure-sized pies come in new exciting flavors like Sheriff's Roundup, Space Rangeroni, and Reach for the Pie. Or take your personal pizza to infinity and beyond by creating your own flavor just for you. Order 2 or more with Papa Pairings and get yours for only $9.99 each. New personal pizzas are ready for takeoff. See Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 5 in theaters June 19th.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk, elevate your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. No one's ever accused car shopping to be fun. I mean, think about it. Awkward standoffs to get a price. Let me go talk to my manager. Dealers asking for your credit card, then melting your phone if you say no. See, not fun. At Northgate, I promise you a different experience. We make it fun. And you will like us, I promise. 0% financing, a great selection of new and pre-owned units. So for some fun, stop in today. 13215 97th Street or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Are new McCafe crafted sodas just drinks or something more? Like Sprite Berry Bliss, Creamy Strawberry Coke, and Orange Dream. All swirled with fizzy flavor and topped with silky cold foam. Only at McDonald's. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting nonstop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape. Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Druid Irish Pub, Edmonton's favorite soccer home. The Druid Irish Pub is back in the Ice District across from Rogers Place.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
5:49. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, alongside Donovan Paulson running everything over at Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, everywhere. So give him a thumbs up on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. We'll appreciate it. It's great. We are up to $1,100 now on our golf package from Steve. So 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We got a lot of text to get to wrap up the show. Hey, boys, Oilers should offer Cutter Gauthier $10.5 million for 5 years. I don't think the Oilers can because they don't have their first-round draft pick next year. So, not going to work. They don't have their pick. So, cannot happen. Hey, guys, do you think the Oilers would have any interest in Gallagher 50% retention? Ooh, God, love his work ethic. I'm not sure how much is left in the tank for him. Because even if you're getting him at 50%, that's still $3.25 million. And I don't know, he had 7 goals this past year. He did have 21 2 years ago, but yeah, I'm gonna say no on that one. I just think it's a little too expensive for a guy who's not a top 6 forward anymore at this stage of his career. I think he's a bottom 6 forward. And I know he said that now maybe he's going to get bought out. Maybe that's what, because when he mentioned that, now was he saying it's time for a change, but he made it sound like he thought he was done. I'm sure he's pretty frustrated with not being in, but I got to look at how much money he's owed. So I think he's owed $4 million. Not that matters. For some teams it might matter. So if Montreal retains it, the team who gets him is only paying him $2 million, and then his cap hit would be 3.25. Edmonton's more of a cap team, so cap hit matters just as much as spending dollars matter. So I think someone might take Gallagher at $2 million a year in actual money, right? And it could help them. Team like Chicago, I could see that, Cons. That would make sense to me, but I don't think Edmonton's going to do it.
No, I mean, I don't know if it makes sense for a team like Edmonton to do it. He seems like he'd be a nice guy to have around a team that is kind of on the upswing and could contribute, be a good vet, maybe, especially a guy for him who's undersized and, made a name for himself with his grit. I think that there's certain teams he could be a fit. For me, I don't think it's Edmonton. Even though maybe he's in a position he wants to go to a contender. I don't know if there's teams that would offer him as much playing time as he would like.
Hey, guys, what about McMahon on a hometown discount? Promise him 2 years playing with Connor Leon, hit the lottery and a free agent in 2 years, then trade for DeBrusk, sign Kane for fourth line muscle. All of a sudden, we have 3 players who can hit and push back. Money Mo. Well, DeBrusk isn't overly physical, Money Mo. Number 2, though, if I'm Bobby McMahon, I'm 29 years of age, right? Bobby McMahon's going to turn 30 in June. He just scored 29 goals. This is his once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get a 5-year deal. I'm not signing a 2-year deal because, am I going to get much more than 29 goals? Honestly, maybe. And I like Bobby McMahon, fast, can skate, all that. But I'm just looking at a player like that who is, undrafted. No one expected him to get to the NHL. And here he is, going to turn 30. He's coming off a 29-goal season at 46 points. Probably going to cash in. And good for him. Good for him. I hope he does, man. That would be awesome if he could. Hey, Gregor, I think Gallagher would bring more than Janmark. Yeah, but he's 3.25. Janmark's 1.4. Is he going to bring $2.1 million more? Janmark, I don't know what he has left, but now that his shoulder's fixed, I wonder what he'll be. Could he get back to at least being like an 8-9 goal scorer? Maybe. He skates so well. He's a good penalty killer, really smart player, reliable defensively, and he's always been good in the playoffs. And at 1.45, you can live with it. It's not ideal, but you can probably live with it over 3.25. I couldn't get behind that trade, like Janmark for Gallagher, and you got to take 3.25 for 1.45. I would be saying no to that for me. And I'm not sold that Janmark has to come back. Let me make that abundantly clear, because who knows? Maybe he'll never be the same off the shoulder. I'm just not sure. With the salary cap going up, I have to look. What's the how much is it in the minors now? Is it going to be like 1.3? So, if you had to waive him and he goes to the minors, then he's only counting like 150K. You could do that too. So there's lots of options to see what will happen this summer for the Edmonton Oilers. Now we're into June, baby. You can start heating up a little bit. We got CFL, we got NBA Finals, Stanley Cup going on this week. World Cup starts in 10 days. Oh, it's going to be an awesome month. On behalf of Connor Halley, Donovan Paulson, please get home safe. Turn your lights on. Enjoy the rain. Enjoy the game tonight. Maybe you're going to it. Maybe you're watching. Should be a great atmosphere. Lots of 45,000 seats sold. That'll be awesome. On behalf of Connor Halley and Paulson, I'm Gregor. Here's the Con Man Sports 1440 update brought to you by Go Auto. Right now might be the time to go test drive a vehicle. Go Auto, because it can get through all the rough water. GoAuto.ca. Good night.
The Sports 1440 update.
We've got soccer tonight down at Commonwealth with the Canadian men's national team taking on Uzbekistan in a friendly kickoff. 7 o'clock. Canada will also play Ireland on Friday before getting their World Cup going June 12th against Bosnia. Big game in the NFL is the Cleveland Browns sending two-time Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett to the Rams for two-time Pro Bowler Jared Verse, a first, second, and third round draft pick, while the Eagles sending wide-out A.J. Brown to the Patriots for a first and fifth rounder Odell Beckham Jr. returning to the team who drafted him, signing with the Giants. They selected him in the first round back in 2014. Major League Baseball right now, Tigers have a 7-2 lead over the Rays in the fifth. And the fourth, Marlins trail the Nationals 3-1. Royals up on the Reds 4-1, while the Rangers, Cards, Brewers, Giants, and the White Sox Twins all scoreless. Later tonight, Colorado heading to Anaheim to take on the Angels. Diamondbacks host the Dodgers, and the Mets are in Seattle. At the French Open, Canadian Felix Auger-Aliassime advancing to the quarterfinals after beating Alejandro Tabilo in straight sets. Next up for the Canadian is Flavio Caboli on Wednesday. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, it's Fox Sports Radio. Live local coverage resumes tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. with Kevin Carius here on Sports 1440. You can watch on YouTube at Sports 1440 AM. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440,
a Stingray radio station.
broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.